she's out yelling with beer.
Boom. We're live.
Yeah.
Welcome. Drake,
Hey.
nice to officially meet you in person.
Yeah, believe it or not, guys, the two bald guys don't meet for what, a year?
A year, at least. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We're here live. Education Day for HD Reach. Super excited. We've got an action-packed day. We're going to get to do some live streaming of the events that are going on today.
Yep. We have the opening ceremony coming up first. Then we have a few of the sessions that'll be happening. Later on the day, you'll have me doing some interviews, following with H doing some interviews. We're going to have a lot of interesting people to talk to today. They're going to tell us all about who they are, what they do, and how they impact the HD community.
Now, Drake, what is Game Over HD, and how did we end up doing this today?
So, Game Over HD is our group. We play video games for advocacy because, I don't know about you, H, I grew up with video games.
Me too.
It's something that, everyone in our HD Game Over group does. We all play our games, and we just kind of thought, let's take what we love to do, share it with other people we love to do.
That's exactly right. And then we got this great opportunity today to bring today's event to you live in a completely different way than ever before. And we're so glad that we get to be here with you too.
So, H, how far did you end up traveling for today?
It took me about 2 hours to get here today, so not too bad. I was here last night. Speaking of last night, the live stream that you had, the birthday stream.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very
How old
much.
are you now?
26 and my knees hurt.
26 and your knees hurt. Ooh, I hear 30 is that real heavy mark.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to that. Something tells me the wheelchair is going to be my future.
I hear you. Well, no, it wasn't too bad. Last night, showed up a little early, helped set things up today for the event, and then got to do the campfire chat, which was super cool. We got to listen to some authors, read some passages from their books, play some games, have a casual evening, and it was really nice. Some good fellowship happening there.
Oh, yeah. So one of the things I'm really looking forward to is the debut of the new children's book about Huntington's disease.
What's that title? Bloopy?
Is it
the
Bloopy?
alien?
Yes.
Bloopy the alien learns about Huntington's disease.
I am excited for it. I almost said spoopy, and I'm pretty sure that's just a meme.
Somebody asked the author last night how they ended up with the name Bloopy. And it was actually really cool. They were like, "Well, what does an alien sound like?" And they went bloop 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 bloop. And I was like, I thought that was great. They said it was between that or Zipzorb.
Zipzorb.
Yep.
I can vibe with Zipzorb.
Not bad. No, it was great. Why? So what? Is there anything specific about that book that you're really excited for?
So my mom was an English teacher.
Okay.
And my mom was the person in our family who had Huntington's disease.
Okay.
And I remember being my mom's guinea pig growing up. Yes, I'm phrasing it like that because whenever she had a new lesson plan, she's like, test it out. And I'm like, hey. I got to take high school tests in the 5th grade.
Oh, great.
That's
fun.
No, so I actually have a tattoo on my chest for my mom.
Okay.
That's the Gothic M, because she would read us Grimm's fairy tales.
Okay.
So I absolutely love stories of all kinds, and now that there's a children's story about Huntington's, it's a really easy way to share with all ages.
That's right. There's definitely a lot of value there. Being able to, the concept of today is storytelling, right? That's the theme. And so being able to share that theme from, when I say start to finish, I mean early in life to end of life, and share those stories, and learning how to make those impactful across the board, and so that they actually resonate and reach people, and there's some understanding. There's a lot of value to that.
Oh yeah, I'll actually be in the speaking on the storytelling panel today, talking about Game Over HD.
Ooh, okay.
This, I remember when Erica and I first started talking about doing live streaming. And as soon as she told me that, all I did was sit and research.
What were you researching?
So, like, best ways to set up streams. What are the popular hashtags? What what are games people like? I threw that one out the window because obviously I play Kingdom Hearts, but people hang out.
I like your Kingdom Hearts clips. Those are funny.
What boat float? We have our ship boat float in Kingdom Hearts 1, and then in Kingdom Hearts 2, it's Jelly Bean. That's right. Yep, one of the HD members from Illinois, she said she wanted to name it Jelly Bean.
Jelly Bean.
And the rule is first come, first serve. So now I'm ready for us to get to Kingdom Hearts 3 in the next 10 months. And
all right.
And see what the last ship gets named.
Okay. Interesting.
Now,
different names each go around, huh?
Oh yeah, you always get to name your ships.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. I know you've been playing a new game called Digging a Hole.
Digging a Hole. We should be wrapping that up next week, I believe.
Can't you just dig a new hole?
I guess I could dig a new hole. I don't know. I don't know where this game ends. I haven't watched it. This is my first time playing it, so I'm playing it live with everyone for my first walkthrough, and it's weird. It's been a little strange.
So the question is have you started using the song Diggy Diggy Hole yet?
No, and you'll have to get that to me second.
Oh, well, we'll play it right now.
Well, is it okay on Twitch?
Oh yeah, it's 100%. It's digging a hole. If you can play. Oh, are we?
We might be live for a session here. First session that we're going to be watching today is going to be HD Has Color with Tanita Allen.
There we go.
And this is Betsy McFarland speaking right now.
Yes, it is.
Facilities are. So just to give you a lay of the land, right? So all morning is going to happen in this room. And I apologize for the heat. I haven't been able to get the air conditioning to go down. So I'm sorry. The other building is wonderfully cool. So that's for the afternoon.
Why didn't they set us up in the other
In this
building?
building.
Oh, it's downstairs from us right now.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Change and transition for breakouts and other things. There are some
So
breakouts in this room.
Betsy McFarland is the executive director for HD Reach. So she plays a huge role in making all this happen and bringing all the right people together.
Ta-da! Printed programs. If you would prefer printed, on your passport is a QR code for the program.
You know, we have our own
But we
printed
did print a
program.
few for those who prefer that.
I know, and it's laminated.
But we'll just ask you to share because that's what
And we have our QR
snacks.
I like it.
Breakfast, we'll have beverages and snacks throughout the day. Where's Brandy? Are you wearing your sunflower, Brandy? Not wearing a sunflower. If you are in need of any kind of support, please seek out Brandy. Brandy wave. She'll be wearing a sunflower later. Also upstairs in the other building where we have our breakouts, we do have a quiet room available. We just kind of need to.
For me, it wasn't my birthday. It was your birthday.
It's from HD Reach.
Oh, nice.
Take a break, but there's a quiet room upstairs. So, our banner,
Oh,
which
what is this?
So please sign our banner.
It's got a P on it.
Also, out in the foyer where you were registering, we have a big.
This is sick.
I put mine on my wall.
That is sick.
It's our HD Mix logo.
I have to put this one. Waited.
Pictures, and then send us your pictures from your list.
You know, if they would have put my first initial in your first initial,
Our volunteers work really hard.
I just realized, Erica.
PR.
No, we're H&D.
Except for.
I did.
We are. We are.
How long have we been streaming for?
Hey, it's the secret meaning behind Game Over HD.
That's our success right there. Wait,
If I can get this thing open.
does that mean we can do the H&D morning show?
There we go.
Please take a few minutes to complete the survey of lessons learned today.
Please do the surveys, y'all. Surveys are super helpful. This information is used.
Upstairs, new this year,
Ooh.
we have our stream team. So many of you
Woo!
Shout out.
Stream team, shout
Yeah.
out. Let's go. Thank you, Betsy.
who plays video games?
Me.
Hi.
You, Rachel? Okay.
Yes.
I expect you to. So, but we have a live stream going on.
That's right, right now.
Program with that. So, H and Ricco are upstairs doing live streams. Some of our exhibitors. And
I was really ready for her to use my first name.
That's a thing on the live
Because
stream.
I don't think I've ever heard Erica call me by my last name before.
Cool people maybe who weren't able to make it.
She knew me before the beard, so it's allowed.
Man, you did the reverse with the hair. From all the hair up here to down here.
Did you see earlier pictures of me?
No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, I had long hair. I had a ponytail.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And a beard?
No, no beard.
Oh, you really did the reverse.
100%.
But our kids are upstairs in their very own kids conference.
Yes, that is super cool. And the kids are,
Stage play.
yes,
Yeah, I
stage play.
I was actually watching them getting everything set up and
my
talking
gosh.
through it. I'm impressed. I'm excited to see it because you know what they're doing the theater of, right?
Yes. Bloopy the Alien.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a recording of that. You know, when I go ahead and have kids, I'm just gonna be like, all right,
Oh.
kids.
There's Tanita.
Ooh.
Stories. She has a story. We're very grateful to see you right here.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Tanita, and I'm living with Huntington's disease. I was diagnosed in 2012, and I'm the first person in my family to receive this
You know what I'm
diagnosis.
noticing?
Um,
Since the TV's
but
on the
before I
right,
was diagnosed, I
you
was
really
told
get that like
something
side
that
profile.
That's right, of my non-existent chin.
Black people don't get Huntington's disease.
Tanita has a very interesting
I heard
story.
this not once,
I haven't
not
had the
twice,
chance to read
but from
her
several
book yet.
medical professionals.
I picked up the summary review that they posted for her book.
Why?
Mhm.
Because I didn't
It
see
just-
people who looked like me in pamphlets
Like,
or websites
I
or
think it's
even
absolutely
conferences.
insane what they said.
But
Like,
I now know that this is a
the idea that
dangerous
black people can't
myth.
have Huntington's, why is that a
The
stipulation?
largest
Why would that ever be a
population of
stipulation?
people
The idea that
with
anyone
HD
couldn't have
is in
Huntington's is a
Venezuela.
gene mutation.
And many
Right,
of them
everyone
are
has the
people of
Huntington gene. That's
Western
proven. It's in
Venezuela,
everyone's
Lake
DNA
Maracaibo,
strand.
in the
It's just a
Northeast,
mutation
live
for people.
one of the
That's
most
right.
concentrated populations of people affected by Huntington's disease in the world. Their participation in research has changed the course of HD history. So starting in
No, I really
1979,
should
Dr.
grab a
Nancy
big gulp of
Wexler
coffee.
and a team of international scientists began working with families in this region. And with their trust and involvement, researchers were able to identify the HD gene in 1993, paving the way for genetic testing, predictive counseling, and ongoing research into genetic modifiers. The Venezuelan families are not just research participants. They are trailblazers. Their courage and collaboration has helped shape the entire landscape of HD.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. I don't know if you've
Every advancement we celebrate today
heard much
has
about
roots in this-
HD,
in the sacrifices
Huntington's disease
of
in Venezuela. But when my first time hearing about it was in the HDYO International Congress in Prague, and the concentrated impact is unbelievable.
I'm not- like, so, I've heard of it in different areas of the world, not specifically in Venezuela, but like the realization of our lack of connection, I think, is what's amazing. Because like I've done like the HDYO, HDSA, HD Reach, all that stuff. Man, I've got to meet a ton of people, and I never realized like the level that we haven't reached yet.
Right.
How was Prague, by the way?
It was good. That was my first HD event. It was fast paced. It was overwhelming but in the best kind of way.
I grew up
Learned a
in
lot,
Catholic schools,
brought back a lot,
and,
and
that,
it's helped me, and I think it continues to help me.
Catholic school
It's
setting
a lingering
where I
impact, that's for
studied
sure.
and learned structure, discipline, and an importance of community. We raised Siberian Huskies when I was little,
Ooh.
and my favorite
I love
dog was
Huskies, but
King.
man, they shed.
He's my childhood companion who lived to be 13 years old. He was strong, loyal, and full of personality, just like I hoped to be. I was and still am.
If you're tuning in with us, say hello. We'd love to see your beautiful names come across our screen so we can greet you correctly.
Reader, and I was always a reader as a child. I was curious about everything: science, art, history, you name it.
Is there anything that you read growing up that always sticks with you?
Thor, what's going on?
Then I
What's up,
pursued
Ree?
business, eventually paralegal studies.
You know, every time I say Ree's name, my brain immediately goes to
Curious about the law,
the Chucky
and
sound.
how I found my
like Ree.
health and wellness.
It's terrible.
Thank you for
I know.
joining us, and we appreciate it.
I worked in marketing as a sales rep on the East Coast, which is where I first became familiar with North Carolina. I was actually here in North Carolina back in 2003. That's the last time I've been here, so it's nice to be here, be back. And I moved to New York.
Hey, that just means
I love how you both greet in a different.
And
Yeah.
engaged.
Well,
And
Ree, I've
then,
known you
I was
for
living in
all
New York
of.
City, fell in love and thought this was my forever person. And at that
What
time,
year is
it
it?
felt like everything.
More than a
You said what
decade.
year is
Great
it?
relationship,
More than a decade.
incredible city, a chance to start
Completely
fresh
fair.
from a small town.
I try and keep people incognito, but also I did not know your real
And
name.
we remained close friends though.
Mm-mm.
To this day,
Oh
we
yeah.
still text
Ree
each other.
actually came down to Myrtle Beach in August, and we were got to hang out hotel side.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
We ended up sitting in the lawn chairs, sitting in the hot tub, and sitting in the pool.
That sounds like a good time.
And then she kicked my butt in putt-putt.
Hey,
Don't
well,
take me to the golf field. I'm terrible.
It happens to the best of us.
I worked for the Southern District. And that role really shaped and helped me as far as like being resourceful, learning how to be resourceful, learning how to look up things, learning how to, really stay focused on tasks. I saw my path
Wow.
clearly. Law
She's
school was
just
gonna be eventually my path.
Throwing
That's
everything
what I
out there
thought.
now.
And,
Apparently, you got your butt kicked by her sister.
Who knows? Maybe even a judge someday. That's how
Oh
I
yeah,
thought.
no, I'm terrible at putt-putt. It's fun for me. I'm terrible at it.
I traveled and spent time with friends and family, explored museums, bookstores. My life was full. And then
Good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Right now we have Tina Allen on the mic, talking a little bit about her book and HD Has Color and her experiences, and specifically the impact that being African American has had on her journey with HD and her diagnosis.
And I showed it to my doctor, and my doctor was like, "Are you doing that on your own?" And I said, No, not doing it on my own. I just don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know what this is. And he said, well, whatever this is neurological and definitely something in the brain. And you need to be a neurologist. And that was my first introduction to a neurologist at that time. And I had never at that point needed a neurologist, so I didn't know. And but I didn't realize that this moment, this simple, unexpected movement of my toes was the start of a new chapter. One filled with questions.
That's a good question. Turnout's been pretty good. I was downstairs for just a minute. Drake actually went down there most recently, so he might have seen.
It's full.
That's
It is.
great.
Like there were still people tunneling in,
Wow.
and I have to phrase it as tunneling because there was like a line of people coming out of the elevator and then down the stairs, and then you just see me running, and I'm pretty sure it almost lifted and knocked myself out. But I saw people. And that's what's important.
That's right. That's exactly right. No, I somewhere, I think we're in the 120 plus range for participants, and that's just registered. So depending on people who come with family members, people who have just recently heard about it and are eager to be here. So yeah, no, it's great. We're super pleased with the turnout. And hopefully we'll get some more people coming by today to hang out with us. And
Spontaneous outings. I love being dressed up, doing my hair, walking into a room with confidence. But when the involuntary movements became more prominent, I was very self-conscious and afraid. I can recall a time of many, where I would go on a subway in New York and people would literally get so freaked out by all the movements that I had that they would get up.
good morning. Hey, thanks for tuning in.
Hey, how's it going?
We're
Is this one of your friends?
This is yes, I would definitely say this is one of my friends. But this is someone that I met in Prague. And they're also in a couple of the books we read in book club. They've done some writing, and so very, very connected to the HD community.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Did not expect you to tune in this morning. What time is it your way right now?
Allowed me seem to respond with fear instead of compassion. I used to take long walks through the city.
And I'd say we're doing pretty good. I'm feeling good.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling energized and 9:19. Well, good morning.
My balance was off.
This is a great way to start your Saturday.
Oh yeah, I was up till 4 and up at 7. I don't know what it is, just could not sleep.
Excitement.
I ended up watching The Owl House.
I don't know what that is.
Began avoiding social gatherings.
Just, it's a really good show.
We'll talk offline.
Oh no, it's a kid show.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's just a children's show.
And I was afraid somebody
Relaxing.
would ask what's wrong with you, and I wouldn't know what to say. And then there were the emergency room visits. At my lowest, when the symptoms became too much to handle, I turned to the healthcare system expecting hope for answers. But instead, I was treated like a criminal. The questions were aggressive, cold, and full of judgment. What drugs did you take? How much have you been drinking? Are you detoxing? I wasn't on anything. I wasn't high, I wasn't drunk. And when my blood and urine tests came back clean, they didn't try to understand me. They just switched lanes. Or maybe you're mentally ill. Maybe
I just can't
you're
imagine.
unstable.
I cannot imagine
I
the
was even accused
the
of
impact that
being
has on a
invisible,
person.
probably
Oh, yeah.
domestic violence
And
because they thought that
it's
I was
absolutely
probably
insane
traumatized
that
at home
it
coming into the
ever
ER,
gets to
and I
that
didn't wanna
level
tell
with
them. They
anybody.
tried to make
Mhm.
me admit that I
Especially
was
with
victim of domestic
HD
violence.
patients, because
I even had one doctor ask me,
like
"Are you being
my
involved?"
grandfather,
Because
he
if
got
the
arrested
bruises from the
for
falls, that's what
being intoxicated in public.
The
And
worst part was not the
it
movement,
was just
it was
HD.
the isolation and shame.
Yep. No.
An invisible wall between me and the rest of the world. I felt alone.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely shouldn't have to. That's the thing. You shouldn't have to explain yourself everywhere you go, but it's a lot of the reality that we face.
I was met
Um,
with skepticism and medical
I mean,
Oh.
there were plenty.
I was told it's just
Miller
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Tier 1 for 3 months
For
in
3
advance.
Woo, let's go. Thank you. We really appreciate that. Love the support.
You're probably suffering from HIV/AIDS. That's another thing. Because
What?
this is
That's so
this
strange.
is very typical with black women. You probably have lupus because you are black. And
Wow.
one thing we know for sure that you don't have is Huntington, because black people don't get Huntington. I wish I could tell you that once I started seeing doctors, I quickly got the answers I needed, but that wasn't the case. It was
Oh, they
the
used our
exact
stickers.
opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Appointment after appointment, I left feeling more confused and dismissed and more broken. Doctors would throw out all kinds of diagnoses, none of them fitting, none of them accurate.
That's so
Some of
interesting.
them
I don't
thought it
know.
might be MS. Others said it was conversion disorder.
I don't know why you would
You just chalked it up to
delay.
stress or anxiety.
genetic testing. I mean, maybe that's just because we come from a world where that's such a routine concept, right?
Right.
But to me, when you're going through these conversations and you're unsure of what you're facing, I don't know why a genetic test wouldn't be a part of that process, or at least a conversation.
Right. Well, and her whole point is the whole thing was just racial bias.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get past their own racial bias to, keep to the Hippocratic oath of just doing care.
Mm-hmm.
People of color, black people, to have Huntington's disease, so the test was irrelevant and it was not necessary. And so she had to cancel the test because she had to listen to her boss. And she told me that she understood if I went and continued the journey to find somebody that would test me.
Wow.
So I went online and I searched day and night for specialists. It took me another 7 months later, but after reading articles, message boards, journals, anything that might point me to someone who could take me seriously, I made calls and I chased hope. For 7 more months, I kept pushing until I finally found a doctor who agreed to test me. And this doctor was like a very unconventional doctor, very, very New York, very quick-witted. He was just, he's just quite a character. And he was just like, you know what? I don't care what those doctors said about you. You're in my house now. This is my domain. And I'm gonna treat you according to what I
That's
think
great.
you need, and I'm not gonna go by what my colleagues have said. Because he knew many of the people that I had seen at that point.
Good morning, everyone. If you're joining us just now, we are watching Tinita Allen talk about HD has color, and she's talking about her journey with HD and diagnosis and overcoming unbelievable challenges.
You know what would be awesome is if we could get her up here to talk.
I believe she actually is coming up here today.
Oh, really?
Yep, she'll be coming by today from 2:35 to 2:45 for a quick 10-minute slot. Ask a few questions and maybe talk about the book a little bit, and talk about the potential for another book. Who knows? So we'll see.
What if you could? Well, you get to ask her any question. What's the big question you want to ask?
Ooh, see, I gotta keep that a secret because I want everybody to tune in, and get the chance to see those questions come live. I think I'm gonna add some fun ones in there too.
Oh, well, you always have to have the funny questions.
I leaned on family. I found my voice and eventually found my purpose.
All right, guys, we do have an ad break coming up in the next 5 minutes, just to let you know. So if you guys aren't subscribed, there is going to be a short ad break, but we'll be right back with you guys so that you can watch more of Tinita Allen talking about her story.
Just as someone living with Huntington's, not just as someone living with Huntington's, but as someone committed to
30
changing
seconds.
the narrative for those who are overlooked, misdiagnosed, and ignored. When I finally got my diagnosis in 2012, I thought I would at least get answers. Instead, I was handed a prediction. The prediction was, by 2024, you'll be in diapers, unable to walk, talk, and most likely in a nursing home. I was devastated. I cried, I grieved the future I thought I was gonna have. For a long time, I felt like HD was a death sentence. And the truth is, I spent decades in and out of hospitals. I had hundreds of falls and battled deep depression and despair. I spent from 2010 to present day still having some balance issues. However, I have not been hospitalized since 2019 for an HD-related symptom. When I fell, I would fall on steps, down the steps, in the bathtub, out of the bed, out in the hallways, on the street. But guess what? It's 2025 and I'm still here. I'm walking, talking, and speaking to all of you today. One of the biggest turning points in my journey was bringing the right medical team, what I call the dream team. Because let me tell you, not every provider is the right fit. Some are dismissive.
That's so true.
Oh, yeah.
Understand HD. Some didn't understand me. If doctors take a condescending tone, I would leave. If doctors
I don't
ignored
think I'm
my
going
concerns,
crazy. You heard
I would
that too,
leave.
right?
So I said,
It's coming from her.
I need a team
It's
that
like,
sees me as a whole
no.
person.
No,
and not just the
no, because I
diagnosis.
tried
So one of the most important things I've
different
learned on
hospital
this
one
journey
time,
is that you
and
cannot
I went
do it alone.
immediately back. So I do all my stuff at the Center of Excellence in Iowa City.
And I've worked
Okay.
hard to build what
And I went
call
to the, what was it,
this
the
group of
University of
professionals
Madison,
not only understands HD,
in
but also
Wisconsin.
sees me as a whole person and
One
not a
visit, I went
diagnosis.
straight back.
An ideal setting
Yep.
would be
Wow.
finding
I mean,
people under the
for me,
same
it's
medical
just,
system.
it's worth
For
the,
example,
you
I
know,
go to the HD Center of Excellence.
1,300-mile drive.
It's different for everyone, and if you feel comfortable somewhere, that is of utmost importance.
Oh,
With the way I select.
they've actually popped in and watched our
So, like,
stream
for
a
my
few
primary
times.
care
Really?
doctor,
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
this might sound simple, but it's
They
everything.
they send people
when something
over
feels off
to
in my body, where there's a new
HD
ache,
Reach. I give them business cards and
sudden
stuff.
fatigue,
Oh, that's great.
They love it.
I can't explain. My primary care doctor takes me seriously. They don't
They
brush it
they
off.
really
They ask
liked your
questions, they follow up,
Pantacore
they make
video.
space for me to
Oh my
express what I'm
gosh.
feeling.
Yeah,
They
that was
trust in my
that was a good
voice.
one.
And that is the
What did
foundation
Lori
for
say?
all of the other
Lori
doctors
said
that I
the
see at the
Yelp
medical
is what
clinic.
got her.
The Yelp.
next
The
person
Yelp.
that I would
You
put in
now
my
have a Yelp
team,
review.
I have a
if I
Yelp
were,
review.
looking to start one,
That's great.
is a neurologist, but the one who specializes in movement disorders.
All right, guys. Our 30-second ad break is coming up in 1 minute, so just be prepared if you don't see us for a little bit.
Going to a general neurologist and then one that specializes in movement disorders. They seem to be more, it seems to be more in alignment with Huntington's disease, in my opinion. They track the progression of my symptoms, they keep me informed about treatment options, the clinical trials, and most importantly, they understand that HD
Oh,
isn't
Miller's
just a
asking about
movement
the,
disorder. They look
campfire
at
last
me.
night.
They look at as the whole
Ah,
person.
The campfire was
The next
was
person
great.
on my team
We
would
had
be
some
a
s'mores. We had some people making us some
that
s'mores out there,
would
which
help
were.
with
I
mood,
heard there was a
Awesome.
food truck.
There's a
mental
food
health is a
truck.
huge part of
That food truck
HD,
was
and having
great.
a
The
psychiatrist
only thing I'm upset
really
about
gets
is that I
the
was not able to
emotional
try
and
more
toll of
of
the
that food
disease.
truck.
I'm so
It's
jealous because
They work
by
with
the
me
time
to
I drove
manage
from Mount
anxiety,
Olive to
depression,
here,
irritability,
and I was dealing with all
that
the
come with
technical
HD.
difficulties that was
I
setting
also
this
work
up,
with them on developing great sleep hygiene.
it was like, oh, I have 10 minutes.
They
Oh
don't just
my
medicate,
goodness.
they listen,
You're
adjust,
right
and
into it.
support my
No, it
health.
was a good time. We got to hear from the
The next
authors.
person would be a psychologist.
We got to ask questions. We got to just fellowship, play some games, throw a frisbee, play some cornhole, just hang out with one another and have a good time.
Yeah. So this was the author's bonfire. So we know we talked about Bloopy the Alien, and HD has color. Was there any other books that were presented there?
Oh yeah.
My psychologist helps me process
Aaron Patterson was there.
understand the trauma that I faced,
Aaron's
what
got
was the
3
medical
books.
system,
Um,
helped me
actually,
build my
I just got
identity, strength, and intention.
my wife won one of the raffles last night and got
The next person that I
All Good Things,
is a speech
which I have not read yet.
And,
Super excited for that.
HD, speech
Um,
therapist to help with swallowing and
Christy,
and
I'm gonna
and
butcher her
HD
last
affects the
name.
muscles in your
Deeren.
face, throat, and
Um,
voice.
she was also there.
Speech therapist becomes
Yeah,
They help
Aaron
me
signed the
strengthen
book.
my swallow
That's so
muscles
cool.
So that was really nice.
and work
Um,
on strategies to help
and
make my speech clear. It's not about
Christy's
the
book,
mechanics,
which
it's
I'm
about
blanking
the
on right now.
ability to connect, express, and be heard.
Livable Lives. We read that in the HD book club.
Oh, nice.
And had some great conversations around that. And she talked for a little bit and read a passage. It was great. It was really cool to have them in like a privatized setting, and feel like we just got some low-key type connection time with them.
So I know we both come from HD families. Is reading HD related books ever hard for you?
Yes, I cry all the time. It's for me. I'm a very emotion on the sleeve type person. So yeah. And I have just have big feelings, and I show those big feelings. But reading about HD can be tough, but it also is somewhat therapeutic, because you get to feel like other people are experiencing similar things, which you never wish this upon anyone, but it makes you feel better that you're not alone.
Do you have a favorite HD book that you've read so far?
Oh, that's a good one. I've just joined the book club, so I'm just really diving into books centered around Huntington's disease, and people's independent journeys. But right now, Livable Lives is probably my favorite book and has been the most impactful for me, just because it's something that I think you could pull off a shelf and hand to somebody, and they would at least have a general concept of somebody's journey with Huntington's disease.
Now, I don't know about you, but for me in high school, like junior high school, whenever we had like in science class, we had to do presentation on things with genetics or diseases or anything like that. I was the kid who was like, Huntington's disease is mine, don't touch it. I only had one teacher that wouldn't let me, and then I made the presentation anyway with the presentation I was supposed to do, because I had he gave it to 2 other girls in class.
Really?
Oh yeah, and all they did was end-stage Huntington's.
No.
Yep. And that's like one of the big things that they tell you when people first start talking about HD is never just go and just don't type in Huntington's disease, because the first thing that pops up is always the end-stage.
That's right.
But if you go to places like hdreach.org, HD Buzz and stuff, they talk about the whole encompass of Huntington's disease, because it's more than just the chorea, which is what Huntington's was just called Huntington's chorea for 30-40 years.
It's a while.
It's insane, because they only saw it as movement disorder. I think it was, Erica, correct me if I'm wrong, 2008, 2010, when Huntington's changed from Huntington's chorea, or it was at least recognized outside of a movement disorder.
I have no clue. Yeah.
But because I remember like growing up and Mom getting to that point where it's like it's not just movement, it's a little bit of everything. And speaking of which, if you guys are looking for more information, resources and stuff, just hop onto hdreach.org. We have links that you can find more information if you want to come hang out with us. And hey, if you guys are in the Raleigh area today, come knock on the door. We'll come say hi.
Yep, the website is really easy to navigate, and resources are quickly found.
Oh yeah, I was able to post our stuff on my story using the HD Reach website.
Nice. Look at that. That's awesome. If you're just joining us, we've got Tanita Allen live right now, talking about her journey with HD, in a session called HD Has Color, and she's sharing a pretty impressive and challenging
The next thing is building community.
Diagnosis journey.
Online HD groups, wellness networks, faith-based spaces are always important. No one should have to walk this journey alone. Community has.
You're right, Erin does rock.
I love what she's talking about right now, because she's talking about community and everything, and if it wasn't for our community, shoot, you and I wouldn't have met anything.
No, I wouldn't have met lots of people. My sister actually is the sole reason that I even got started on this. She tagged me in a post for Game Over HD, and it just happened from there. So Without her, I have no idea
Every time I honor my limit, I honor my
where I'd
goal.
be in this journey.
On the flip side, I also give myself permission to say yes to joy, to community, to opportunities that light me up, even if they scare me a little bit, like being in front of you guys. Assertiveness is not aggression, it's self-respect. Setting
That's right.
boundaries is hard, especially when you're someone who's used to showing up for others, being strong, or being the go-to person. Honestly, it took me a long time to realize that even I needed boundaries. Getting some time to be alone, to figure things out, is definitely helpful. For me, it wasn't just one big moment, it was a buildup of small ones. Times when I felt conversations were draining, times when I ignored how I was feeling just to keep the peace, times when people minimized what I was
Sometimes
going through,
I wish I
made
could
me
make-
feel like I had to explain or justify my Huntington's
Oh, thank you,
diagnosis.
Deg.
I started
Thank you so
noticing that
much.
certain relationships made my symptoms
We really
worse.
appreciate that.
Like
This,
more
you know, this
anxiety, more exhaustion.
this never feels like
That was my
work for me.
fault.
There's lots of stuff that happens behind the
And
scenes
I
that
realized your
that
energy
that you all don't get to see, where the real work is put in. We're very fortunate that we get to do what I view as the fun side of this,
Oh yeah.
and be here with you all and talking and answering questions and just making HD casual.
Was it difficult? Absolutely.
You know,
I
I
felt
keep
guilty.
telling Erica I would do
worried about
24/7 streams if she'd let me.
I think she'd make that deal if you also did the 24/7 editing. If you live streamed your editing and video posting.
Well, you know, I have a fiance, so that's what that's for.
Hey, there you go. Make it a family business.
I noticed when I feel tense or overwhelmed, and is this a boundary issue? That's what I ask myself. Sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it's limiting how much I share with certain people.
And first time in chat. Thank you for
Oh, yeah.
saying. Thank you for throwing something in there.
Everyone,
We love seeing you.
If you got a second, give Deg some hand hearts in chat.
Ooh, Dig.
I live mindfully, not perfectly, but intentionally. And I choose what I can control and let go of what I can't. That's not just surviving HD, but that's thriving with it. People often ask me, how are you so open about your diagnosis? I wasn't always. I used to hide my symptoms.
Let's
I
go ahead
didn't
and
want
ban
people
it
to
and get
stare.
action for
I
ourselves.
didn't want to explain. I didn't want the rejection.
Mm.
But keeping HD to myself was isolating. I was walking through life with this invisible storm inside of me, pretending everything was fine on the outside. I smiled when I was breaking. I laughed when I walked.
I think more people than we realize have a similar journey with their ability to talk about Huntington's disease and how it's impacted them, and that that silent battle that takes place before you loop people in and before you share like how you're impacted and how we all need support. I'm glad that she's sharing that right now because it really shows how beneficial just talking with people can be. And you don't even have to be the one talking. You could just be in a room with other people talking.
Oh yeah, it's the knowledge that there's other people to be there.
That's right.
Like, you know, it's always going to be harder to do things alone.
That's right.
And
Exactly right.
that's why we do what we do, because you never have to be alone.
That's exactly right. You don't even have to be together in person. You can be right here with us virtually.
Yeah. Watching you yelp and dig a hole.
Check out my Yelp reviews.
No, I'm gonna ask her to comment on one of the videos now and just be like, subscribing for a Yelp review.
That's great.
You know, we have Scree, now we need Yelp.
I was no longer defined
That's
by
right.
my diagnosis. I was reclaiming my narrative. There was a time when HD made me feel ashamed, like I had to hide in the shadows. Now it's part of my story that I share with courage, because in speaking out, I found out that it's not only healing, but it's also providing me a sense of purpose. My voice is not just for me, it's for everyone who's felt like that and who had to suffer in silence.
That is,
Couldn't have said it better myself, right?
honestly, that is perfection.
Yeah.
Our stories have power. Power to
I could eat
educate,
that with a
power
steak.
to break myths, power to make space.
I'll be
for
honest, all I
others.
had was a apple
So I
fritter
live
this
out
morning.
loud now.
I could
I
go for
write,
some
I
like
speak,
steak
I
and
post,
eggs.
I show up.
Steak and
I've
eggs.
learned that one of the most powerful ways to change our future is by getting involved. I've participated in research like HD Enroll. I've worked with
You know, I made
advocacy
Bloody Mary
organizations.
barbecue chicken the
I've
other
written
day.
with my legislators to discuss HD
Oh, it
and
was
racial
beautiful.
equity in
Sounds pretty
healthcare.
good.
I advocate with educational institutions like medical schools and the schools of public health to make sure our voices are heard.
Mm.
You can do this too. Share your story. Ask how you can be part of a study. Join an HD walk. Email your representative. Change happens.
You know,
when we
one of my
show up and
favorite
speak up.
things that
Change
people do for
also
advocacy is
does
doing
not
education days
always
at
happen
schools.
overnight.
So that
Yeah.
like students at like high schools and middle schools and stuff get the opportunity to learn about Huntington's disease from a first-hand
If you're
experience,
not ready, that's okay
more than
too.
just the textbooks.
But
That has a bigger
I
impact when you can put the name for something to a real person who feels things standing in front of you. That's hard to. There's no comparison there, right? That you're always gonna feel more from that person right in front of you.
Oh yeah, I've watched speakers go through school time and time again talking about different things, and when I heard, I'm trying to remember, it was a school here in Raleigh, Cary, Durham area. I can't remember the high school, but they had an education day and a walk there, and I just thought that was so
Impressive.
empowering because not only are the students getting involved in something, showing that sense of community outside of just people with HD, because we are bigger than just ourselves.
That's right.
Everywhere we go.
That's right.
But on top of that, they're showing a willingness to learn.
Yes.
Because they did it on a Saturday, so that means anyone who showed up did it of their own volition.
That's right.
I think they ended up having a couple hundred people show up.
That's
that day.
fantastic.
Within your closest friends or family.
H, when's your panel today? Is it being streamed or filmed? My panel.
Maybe it's simply
I don't
allowing
believe
yourself
we
to
are
rest on the
streaming
hard
panels.
days
Yeah,
without guilt.
we won't be actively streaming the breakout sessions.
Is that
Um,
making the change in
but
your life?
it
Hey, your pace
mine's from 1:30
on
to
your terms.
2:15 today. Journey through the negative. It isn't always positive.
Not okay.
And I'll be on a panel with Christy and Marianne.
Build on the
Yep.
next.
And then I'll be doing interviews during that time live here, and then we'll swap. H will do his interviews, and then I'll be on a panel with Aaron and Marianne,
There we go.
and we'll be doing telling your story.
Perfect.
Empowered, seen, and supported you began to feel. A
And
Thank
neuropsychologist
you.
recommended that
Thank
I
you.
enroll in school for my cognitive issues that I had. And I started with one class at a time. I noticed I was improving my cognition by repetitive learning. in a
I'm really
structured way.
curious what game we
This
have.
turned into an
attached
associate's degree
right
in
now.
science, then a
Never thought
bachelor's
about
degree
that.
in public affairs, and now I'm in a master's program studying.
Oh, we got
public
just chatting.
government.
There we go.
This is proof that anything is possible. If I can do it, you most certainly can too. Don't wait for the big milestone to cheer you, the milestones to cheer you on.
You know how they've been coming out with VR games and everything.
Mhm.
One I can't remember. It was back in
Make a healthy choice, win. Ask for help.
I want to say
huge
New
win.
Orleans.
You are sitting here today. Win.
We were having a
HD
lighthearted
is a hard
conversation
diagnosis, but
about
it is not a death sentence.
doing
I
a
know that.
VR
You can grieve,
simulation
you can rage, but
of Huntington's.
Ooh,
You are
that'd be
here.
interesting.
You are breathing.
I think,
And you are
like,
so much
imagine
more
like the
than you
different
know.
kinds of things
So
that
much
you
more
can
than the power
simulate
that you
with
think
a like
of
a
the power
full
that you
VR
think.
system, because they've got
We
the
don't just
treadmills
survive
and
with
everything
HD,
now.
we thrive.
So
We
like
don't fade into
you
the
could
background.
imagine like
We
them
show up and
changing the
shine.
elevation
Because
really
HD
quick,
has come
Mhm.
with
things like
passion
that. How
and
many
strength.
things that you'd be able
HD
to
has
simulate
hope,
in a
and
4D
I'm living
setting.
proof. Your voice matters, your needs are valid, and you're powerful. It all starts the moment you decide to use it. Thank you, HD Reach, for this amazing opportunity to speak before this amazing community. Thank you for everyone for sharing this space with me, because representation matters. And I want every person of color with HD to know you're not invisible, you matter, you're not alone. Thank you.
That was great.
Golf clap so we don't blow your ears out.
Get some snaps going. If you're just tuning in, that was Tanita Allen wrapping up her session called HD Has Color.
Now, who's next on our docket?
Next, we're going to be doing some exhibitor introductions. So I believe they're going to talk about who is around today for people to interact with, booths to stop by.
Our panel of experts to kind of make their way up here, we have to share microphones, you can get seated. Tanita's gonna take a chair.
Now, what is one thing that you want to see from today?
Ooh.
Sit. No problem.
As you know, we both have very busy days today.
Oh, yes.
I am most excited about the play.
About your passport.
That is,
Clear about what to do.
that's going to be
We are
amazing.
so grateful to have
So,
our sponsors,
H's
our
wife
authors,
and my fiance, they're going to be
jewelry for sale,
actually helping the children
our
set up the
our
play.
fellow,
So,
advocacy
afterwards,
organizations are here
I'm
in
going
support,
to
so make sure
lean
you
over while we're
get
sitting in the
on
car.
box
I'm going to go.
and put it on your passport. Visit
So how'd
the
you think of the
table, have a
bloopy voice?
conversation, and then
So, because you know somebody's going to have to do the bloopy
That's
voice.
right. Somebody's going to have to.
because then you'll get a prize.
How would you voice bloopy?
Okay, have a seat. Sit.
I'm going to have to think on that one. That's a good question.
I bet you Erica would have a good one.
What?
Thank you.
Or even better, Marianne.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Marianne
What
would
do we
make a
have
great
going on
bloopy.
right now? They're talking about prizes?
So they're bringing up the panel of experts at the moment. I mean, come on.
Can I stay for, do you want me, no, I'll move. Yeah, I'll move, go ahead. Here, Brandy, pick your seat. Oh, I'm not expert.
Is she mic'd up or something? Oh, she is. I was
Yeah.
like, how do we hear her so well?
Hi.
I barely hear myself that well.
Really? It was okay?
Everyone's gonna get settled with, I can pass this one off too.
Thank you.
We have a fabulous panel of experts.
Thank you.
In-house experts, our very own experts. And we are gonna have you are gonna have the opportunity, not we, you are gonna have the
Hello.
opportunity to ask questions.
Just like,
I would like to introduce our
Oh, look at this panel.
Dr. Bert
how
Scott,
far he has, so
Duke Center of Excellence.
wanted the-
So he's
yeah.
gonna kind of manage the questions,
I can
the
do that way.
flow, all those
Oh
good
no,
things
they
that
crossed the
Bert's talking about.
microphones.
Thank
But
you.
one of the things I wanted to start with before we start asking questions is if each of our experts could introduce yourself. And then we'll start with questions.
Jenna!
and move on from there.
Yep.
Definitely.
Thank you.
If you had to be an expert of something, what would you say you're an expert of?
Nothing.
Where
I'm an expert of nothing.
ask us questions and we try to answer them.
Yeah, think about
I
that.
do have a list of
Here's the thing. I can't fathom nothing. Like,
views, but certainly.
no, because, so I was watching a TikTok video of this guy talking about him going blind, and he's like, I don't know how to describe it because it's not darkness. And I'm like,
All wonderful people. I
what is it? And he's like, it's just nothing. I'm sitting here trying to be,
And where you work.
what is it? It's nothing. What is,
Okay, so I'll just start by saying that as much as I love Dr. Scott, I'm so glad to see a panel of women here. So
Hey.
for having us.
Look at that.
Speaking of representation, and what a wonderful talk from Ms. Allen. So I'm Dr. Katie Moore. I also work at Duke and ostensibly am an expert. One of the things I wanted to share about myself is I'm an educator, almost first and foremost, more than a neurologist. I do a lot of teaching and run the fellowship program and am involved in our residency program. And so one of my missions in that is to make sure that our neurologists that graduate from Duke know about HD and know how to take care of families with
That's
HD
so
in a
important.
compassionate and loving way.
I would love to just like
And I'm Dr.
sit
Urian
through
Solon.
like some of
I'm a
their classes one day.
neuropsychologist. I'm housed in Columbia, South Carolina at the University of South Carolina. Used to be at Wake Forest, if any of you recognize me.
Have you ever been down there
I
before?
specialize in
USC?
movement disorders
Yeah.
and
I
dementia.
haven't been to that campus, but my
I've been
grandmother lives in
trained
Columbia.
in both pediatric
Really?
and adult care. I do
I
offer
got to
telehealth
make it down
services.
there.
I am licensed
I
in
had a
North
friend who went
Carolina
to college.
still. Okay.
Beautiful campus.
I'll be talking later this afternoon.
Massive.
To see your faces there.
Hi, I'm Latorius Adams. I'm a case manager with UNC Chapel Hill Department of Neurology. I work along with Dr. Claudia Testa. We just got up and running a couple years ago. We're right down the road. I'm from Duke. And as she said, I like educating and advocating for our patients, especially those in rural areas and individuals of color who are not aware of this disease and may be affected by it.
Hi, it's always that juggle.
Oh, thank you, Dag. I appreciate that.
Dag, we're glad we could bring it to you.
Organization or HDO,
We're gonna do our best for you
or
today.
HDO, as someone vehemently told me that they prefer it. We support young people globally impacted by Huntington's disease, 35 and under, and then their support systems and professionals. I like to joke, we don't card people at the website, so it's not like if you don't fit that demographic, myself included, I am way over that age group. We want to be there to support you, to be able to understand and help connect. As an international organization, we get to partner with so many organizations, so many clinicians, so many individuals around the world to help make sure that people get that individualized support that they need.
And my name is Brandy Dellenbach, and I'm the senior manager for HD Reach. So welcome, you guys. It's good to see every one of you here. And my role is really to help support anyone impacted by Huntington's disease. So families, patients, caregivers.
I got to meet Brandy for the first time yesterday. And my mom actually goes to her meetups in Winston.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I haven't made it to any of the meetups yet. Have you been able to?
I have. I typically go to the Charlotte meetups as much as I can.
And I do have one real quick one. Can I
And
join?
that's just because I know Erica, so that's just been like my comfort zone. And it's been good. We've had a couple new people come through, and we meet at some cool places.
Oh, see, we've been. I know we've been trying to do one in Fayetteville, and I've got my giant bag of stuff. So when we start, I'm gonna just start throwing pinwheels at people.
Pinwheels.
I'm not joking. I have a bag of pinwheels. Uh-oh.
Bear with us.
Quick,
Looks
start
like
ad-libbing.
Looks like we've got some video difficulties happening right now. Does anybody have any questions for us while we've got a moment? Any questions about Game Over HD? Any questions about our sessions today?
Yeah, and throughout the day, feel free always to throw questions in the chat.
Try to press play. Oh, there we go. I think we're back.
Guess who's back? Back again.
You don't want that, believe me.
You know, I had to sing Backstreet Boys in college.
I'd pay good money for that. For you to sing it.
I'll start and go
I'm
for it.
pretty sure I have, like, I have we did We Will Rock You by Queen. I have that video.
Research that's going on in HD specifically for potential medications, right? And so if you join us at HSG at the study group in Nashville this fall, you'll see the vast number of companies that are interested in researching to help HD. And they're not just there twiddling their thumbs, they're very excited about the research that's going on, whether that be in mice or monkeys or cells or in humans. And so I'm excited to know that there's so many different options that might come through the research pipeline. You can never be sure, whether something is going to be successful in the long run with research, and it is a long run. It's many, many years. So this is a slow process. Gosh, we wish it was faster, but I do think that.
Ooh, where do I get one of those Game Over HD shirts?
So Erica's going to
Great
throw the
question.
link right into the chat. If there's anything you're ever looking for, like some of our swag or anything like that, you can also go to the Game Over web or the HD Reach website and go to our Game Over tag, and you can find the link to all of our items. So, real cool thing about the shirts, obviously we can see HD Reach right here, but we also have
Crewmate for life.
for Caden, who is
Yes.
part of our support group, who just an amazing person through and through.
That's right.
Who never played the killer.
Never. Crewmate for life.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I agree with Dr. Moore. There are indeed a variety of approaches that are being taken to try to find interventions, drugs that have an impact on disease course. And so far, there is no such drug that impacts,
Yes.
that changes disease.
Big love.
It's been proven to change disease course. That being
So,
said,
I know he's
there's
talking about
data
different
suggesting that there's some
interventions
set of
and medicines and things that they're using for HD. Do you do any of the studies?
There may have been some
I actually have not participated in any of the studies. Right now, my sister and I have talked a lot about her interest in participating. Hey, Deg! Gifted a tier 1 sub to Sushi Roll.
Oh,
Thank
you, Deg.
Thanks, Deg. We really appreciate that.
The initial study was
Lots of love.
did not show benefit. It was a failed study. However, the drug.
Wait, we can ready
the folks doing
superpower.
the study found that there was a subset
That's gonna be a
of
sticker.
folks that they thought
Maybe we did it fast enough. Erica can't get it now.
this, and so the Thompson medicine's being tested now.
I did
Oh,
bring
but
I
your
did bring
question-
the papers. Yes.
Yeah. No, my sister and I are talking a lot about research and possibilities for participating in research, and we're starting that journey together right now.
That is amazing. I've done a few different ones. One that I'm really looking forward to though is HD Clarity.
Okay.
So HD it's a spinal tap research where they'll take spinal fluid, send it to Italy so that they can study doing different medicines, and the purpose is that a lot of the medicines that they want to help intervene with HD patients can't affect the brain as they want to due to the blood-brain barrier. It sits right there, base of your skull. So there's certain medicines that you take that just can't do anything to help because they can't get past that part because it's in the bloodstream. But if they can figure out how to synthesize medicine that can mix with the spinal fluid, and then they can inject it into the spine, and I believe they do it through L4, and they inject it in, and
It reaches the brain.
yep.
That's impressive.
Who?
Side question: does that classify you as visiting Italy?
Oversight is necessary and very careful testing has to be done to make sure that
Now, if we start going down that rabbit hole, that's a long one.
my
Oh, where else were you? Were headed
speculation
somewhere
is
else.
but I don't know when.
Don't you hate when names fall out of your head?
I'm horrible with names, so that is my day to day.
I've listened to them talk for since 2016. That's the first time I heard them. They do HD Buzz. Erica?
That seems pretty vague.
Yeah, HD Buzz. They do all the funny slideshows and whole names.
Crescendo into.
Thank you. Ed Wild, Jeff Carroll. They're the ones who are doing the HD Clarity study.
Okay.
I can't believe they are funny as all get out too. You know, I think would be fun is that if we could get them on here and get them to play a game of Fortnite.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I think it would.
Do you
be
know that they play
hilarious.
Fortnite?
Ed has because of his son.
Okay.
I
Okay.
know that much.
Maybe we can make that happen.
I think it'd be great. I mean, shoot.
Well, they could talk about some of what they got going on too.
Oh yeah, and like they're so insightful.
Oh, they're talking about HD Buzz right now.
Ooh.
Follow this very closely and want to help explain the data as it's released. And then hdtrialfinder.org is a way to find out which trials you may be a candidate for. Because we only get to treatments by participating in clinical trials.
Another question out there. So I'll pump one up here.
You know, maybe if I call Betsy, she'll phone in our questions.
We've got some phoned in questions from upstairs.
We did have some questions from.
No, we should have had Erica snag one of their microphones and just randomly turn it on and be like, "Hey, Betsy."
HD reach.
I think that would give her a heart attack though.
So we're at the Ask the Experts panel portion of the day,
Yes.
and this will run until 12:15,
Mm-hmm.
or somewhere abouts.
I think we break for lunch at that time, correct?
Mm-hmm. And if you are tuned in, we will be having a lunch break. We're not going anywhere. The stream will be up. We just won't be sitting right here at that moment, and then we'll be coming back after that to bring you more live feed from the event today.
What'd you pick for lunch?
I don't remember.
I
don't either.
But
But let's be honest,
I'm not picky.
it's free food.
That's right. I'm not picky.
Nothing tastes better than free.
That's exactly right.
Free
Free 99.
Free.
Wait,
Yeah, that's not true because you can pick either the main dish, the vegan option. I picked the non-vegan option.
The non.
If you have a dietary restriction.
That's right. That's right. I do remember that question. Dietary restrictions. Knowing I should probably instill
Thank you
some
so much for
restrictions.
being in, Millard. We really appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for stopping by, spending a good portion of your Saturday morning with us. And hey, shoot me a message. I haven't heard from you in a minute.
And just remember, if you have some friends you think would enjoy this,
Let them know.
send them our way.
Speaking
of which.
we also have plans before the end of the year for Fayetteville.
Oh, Fayetteville, mention.
We're really excited about that, and part of the way we do that, HD Reach.
Is it bad that I've been to Fayetteville one time in the 6 years I've been here?
I've never been to Fayetteville.
Really?
Take time, meet with people. It could be.
I've been to Charlotte one time.
So we're building in
It's just
Greenville,
different areas.
hopefully Fayetteville,
Just farther away. Too far to reach.
I've been.
along with everything else in Nashville in that area.
I'm attempting to go to every part of North Carolina since being here. I will say so far my favorite place I've been to is Mount Airy.
That's where my mom lives.
Really?
Yep.
So when I drove to Illinois to go back home, visit things like that, I always pass through Mount Airy every single
Yep.
time.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually this really nice gas station right off the exit where there a couple old gentlemen are there every time I go. For the last
Their
6
spot,
years,
man.
like clockwork.
It's their spot.
And I always get a chit chat with them. I can't tell you their names, and it's because I can't remember.
If you're just tuning in with us, we are at the Ask the Experts panel session right now, bringing it to you live. We're going to hear questions live from the audience, and they're asking this fabulous panel of unbelievable professionals, hard questions, and providing some great answers.
That has been one of the very best things.
It's the last line. It's the last line that gets me. Erica, did you see Melissa's?
I'm just wondering, do you, so you physically go to this physical therapy? It's virtual, okay. So anybody can do it then, right? Okay.
Do you,
Other questions? from
sorry, I
that?
was trying to follow his line of. Do you, he's asking if it's in person. Okay.
Yes,
I'm like,
in-person physical therapy.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you? Because all I heard, do you physically do your physical therapy? I'm like, how else do you do physical therapy?
Mental strength.
I'm being handed the mic. I think
Oh, there's
people and
there's
families
Melissa.
with HD are some of the most loving and resilient people that I've ever been blessed to meet. And
Woo.
My cup is filled to be working alongside them and to help them through that process. That's the reason I went into neurology. The reason I went into movement disorders was to help people with complex situations, help them understand what's going on with their body, and learn from them.
I can't say it any better than Dr. Moore just did. Same thing. I came from a family where a parent had a neurological injury that was devastating at a very young age, and getting help from physical therapists, speech therapists, all the professionals was really, really life-changing for me when I was in a very difficult place, not knowing what to do. And so I am a helper, and it makes my day to be able to do that for someone else. And there's just so much we can offer you. It's very uplifting for us.
My role started, my background is in public health and health sciences. So I was working in the Department of Neurology with the Alzheimer's Dementia Research Center. I knew nothing about Huntington's disease until I saw the job posting. And a part in the job posting was navigating resources for others. So I just applied for it, and I guess I did great on my interview because Dr. Testa hired me. But it's very rewarding. I feel like when individuals are in their appointment and they leave, I never want anybody to leave empty, not getting their questions answered or not knowing what to do, because you can get your diagnosis and then what's next.
You know, we're really
So
lucky to have
I like to always keep in
people
contact,
like
with
the people that are on this panel
I like to connect them
who are so
to
passionate
resources like
about
this.
working in HD.
If
But
individuals
I do have to
are
say,
displaced,
the HD community
I work
is
hard and look for
really
housing
good
or whatever
at
it needs
welcoming
to be.
people
I
into
think,
the community
in this role,
and
Oh,
then
yes.
keeping them
being
around. Because
empathetic,
once you
kindness,
jump into this community, you just
soars,
get
and that's
overwhelmed
why
with
I
love,
embrace every
and it's like,
single
wow,
patient
I
that
just
comes
want to
into our
I want to
clinic,
stay
and
here. I want to
also
live in this
educate
space.
It
about Huntington's
like
disease.
best way I can describe it
What we
makes you
have
feel like
started doing
Superman.
with the
Yeah.
Parkinson's
No, it really
Foundation
does.
is doing a brain
Like,
health series.
I feel like I could take a
Because
fleet of
when you go out
bullets.
into rural
Yeah.
areas, a lot of people
Yes.
have never heard
Yeah.
of Huntington's
It,
but they've heard of dementia or brain health. So
Paintball.
we've been doing like a
Paintball bullets.
I'm gonna stress paintball.
Yep.
So, well, where did you first dip your toes in the water when it came to the HD community itself?
That's a good question.
In rural areas, but a lot of them can't afford to get there. We have
I
patients that
was
drive 2-3
fairly
hours
young.
one way.
It was not long after learning about my dad's diagnosis.
Or coming in once a year to a point.
Went to some like
So
youth
it's basically
get-togethers and
educating
stuff. It
individuals
just
where they
really
can
wasn't
afford to come to let them
really
know
wasn't
that
hitting
each
the way
hospital
it needed to
needs
hit for
have
me.
a patient assistance
So
program that they
and then
can
life
follow.
changes, family dynamics
And I'm
change,
sure others as well.
and
But
stopped
sometimes
for a
people
long
need to know
time.
where to start.
And then
You don't
I
know
didn't
where
really
to
get back
start
into it
you're
until
lost.
about a
So
year
I'm here to
ago,
help you where to start, and I don't give
with
up on
Game
people.
Over
I
HD.
stay along the
Oh,
way. I
yeah.
stay along
So
the
then
journey.
since then
And
has
get in
been
touch
just
with your
full steam
neurologist
ahead.
or the psychiatrist.
It's
I
been
like
great.
to be that medium
What about you?
person. If you're
So
having
for
trouble
me,
getting
I
appointments,
started.
that
What was
is
it?
to people from coming to
2015
appointments or seeking
was my.
help if they can
So
never get in.
I was
So I put
6, 7
my
years old when we
direct
found out
line on our
my mom had Huntington's, and then we went to the University of Iowa Center of Excellence, and we did stuff with them. But I really count the first HDYO camp that they did in Maryland as the kind of first part of me stepping into the community. And I remember there's people that I still talk to today. Marianne, that's where I first met Marianne. Absolutely love her. You can hear her clicking away on her crutches down the hall right now. There's Gwen Johnson, who what's funny, for the entirety of college for me, it was just a picture of Gwen and I. And they're like, "Is that your grandma?" And I'm like, "Gwen's gonna fight you guys." I'm gonna tell her. But and then Erica and Melissa, I met them at different HD events, and I got to go to their wedding. Absolutely beautiful. Melissa made me cry again. Melissa keeps making me cry. I'll be honest about that. And she's not mean. Melissa's the sweetest person you'll ever meet, but she will make you cry. And here's the thing: she's gonna watch this, and then she's going to go do the thing, and then I'm gonna cry because she's gonna be like, "You were being," and I'm like, "Don't make me cry! Don't make me cry!"
So 2015. I mean, that's you're 10 years in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This has been the best journey of my life so far. I wouldn't want to do a single thing different, because then one, I wouldn't be able to sit here with you, have this awesome conversations, be here for our education day. There's so many friends that I have in HD that I can't even call them friends anymore. They're just family at this point. I have Ariel and Brendan. I fight with Ariel she's my sister. I don't care. She's wrong. And then Ree and her sister, I've known them forever, and it's what's funny is that we didn't even live that far. We lived an hour and a half, 2 hours apart from each other, and didn't meet until we did these HD events, and it was like glue.
Yeah, I mean that's the way. I mean,
see, she's watching.
I had only met a few people through my course there with Huntington's, but after joining this wonderful community, everyone is absolutely amazing and special. So I think that for my role in this connection,
don't play golf with Ree. She's mean about it.
Noted. I'll put that in my notes here.
Ladies up here as well, or whoever you need to be connected.
She'll beat you with a club.
So if you have questions,
That's how she wins, huh? It's hard to get around the golf
Oh, yeah,
course with injuries.
I took one to the knee, and that's what put me out.
So I have no connection, but I'm so honored to be part of this community now.
Well, so I guess I represent the men of this group. But I can just tell you about myself. So I went into neurology because my dad had a illness. He had Parkinson's disease.
I'm
Not true.
Within the world of neurology,
I'm getting it here live, so this is a one-sided story.
and that's when movement disorders folks take care of Parkinson's patients.
I took both
Once
sides of the
I
club.
started taking care of Parkinson's patients, I met Mary Edmondson, who's a wonderful psychiatrist, internal medicine person, who started what became HD Reach because she had Huntington's in her family. And she came through my clinic, and I was seeing movement disorders patients with her, and she talked about Huntington's disease. And really out of that, it was my own involvement came because there was a need, and Huntington's is part of the movement disorders world. And what has become my passion in taking
Did we
care of
miss the
Huntington's folks
exhibitor
is,
introductions, or was that it? Did it just go
being
that
able
fast?
to,
No,
try
I
to
believe
offer
they
something a little more
didn't
than
do that.
what
It was a short time slot. It was about 10 minutes, and I think they just went ahead and jumped straight into the Ask the Experts panel.
Offer clinical trials to folks, which are the way that advances are made in an illness. Is participating.
Which, if you're just joining us, we are at the Ask the Experts panel right now.
Try to make clinical trials available to folks, because I think they give.
And the audience is asking questions to a panel, and they're answering to the best of their abilities.
Folks well, I think, and it's a passion of mine to watch the team. And
Now,
we've
Candid,
got it
if you're working.
up here at other places as well, grow. It's a privilege to operate with you guys. Other questions out there? So I'll ask, got one over there.
First off, I think and I want to just thank you all for all these interviews.
Let me see one of the stickers.
We had some issues, and all that, and we didn't even have to get it. So I really appreciate you all what you do on there. And I don't get to say it because you have a scheduled for the appointments, but I just want everybody to know that, and thank you very much.
So I was just telling the panel thank you for everything that they're doing.
It's very kind of you to say that, and we all try to do that. And I can tell you that that's totally opaque to me. It's
Careful, I will leave this here.
Deal with those issues. And
I believe it.
Get the information to the right person. It really takes a team. Another question?
Hold on a second.
I wonder if you have any information or any hope for clinical trials.
Oh wait, if I raise my
available
eyebrows,
late
Wait, well,
onset.
I think it like wrinkles it.
So right now, there is no access. Oh, sure.
I'm just gonna get this tattooed on my head.
Wait, so
Do you think they can condense this down
Are developing a
small enough to in like a teardrop?
It tends to be operated in a narrower group of people.
No, you got to do like the back of the hand,
Working and it doesn't get
Yeah.
sort of,
or I could really get it.
by other that might exist. So
That's
sometimes
my.
Get-
That's.
Game over HD tramp stamps.
I do think what's important to know is that when these things become
I figured it out.
they will be
Ricco, we have known each other since 2016
HD convention. Yes, it was
Wow.
Baltimore.
Okay.
Yep, because I still have the pictures.
Wow, you have a good memory. Man, I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday.
Oh, neither can I. There's a good chance I probably forgot to eat breakfast. That's more consistent. But no, I always remember friends and family. That's like the one thing I can consistently
The
remember.
researchers want to know your experience. What is it like having late onset
And,
HD? Is this a group of
I
folks
think I did
that
forget to eat breakfast yesterday.
would want to participate in clinical
I'm-
trials? That inspires
Yeah, I know I did.
Deg is wild.
You found it on your Insta.
No, scroll up to Deg's comment right here.
65 over 80 really want to participate in clinical trials. Let's do it. Let's develop one that's specific for that age group. So there are ways to move the needle in this space.
Shoot, okay. Yeah, Erica,
official.
screenshot that. We have to use it. That's legal proof.
Hinted on that.
Deg, I don't know if you know what you're in for, buddy.
Your own feedback and what you.
It's okay. I have a friend who owns a tattoo shop. We can get this done really quick.
Our HD, my HD story. Locally, if depending on center, sometimes they have their own
Thanks.
observational studies.
I guess.
A great way
There we
to
go.
Well,
connected
I guess we need to make an
is
appointment.
also by participating in Enroll HD. So many of you probably know about this, but for those who don't, Enroll HD is a way for them to collect different information about your own disease progression and experiences. So when clinical trials come down the line for recruiting, they already have
You know,
a
we-
database of people.
you know what game we
depending
need
on
to
the
play
site
together?
location, who may fit that inclusion
What's that?
criteria.
Split
And that's a
fiction.
good also step if you're younger.
Split fiction. I've heard of
Yes.
that.
So Madison and I started playing. It's a 2-player required game. So, do you remember It Takes Two?
Yes.
Yes, it is essentially the second game.
And the only way to do that is to have participants.
Stream the
One,
experience.
it's a really great way to kind of tip your
The
toe
tattoo.
into
Oh no, I understand.
what it look like because it's a step above answering a survey or
I don't. I'm pretty sure that would be pulled down for expletives.
Yeah, I don't know if that would fit Twitch guidelines.
Yeah.
Maybe a clinical trial
Like, don't get me
is the
wrong.
right
I've
fit
seen
if
some
you are
wild
eligible.
stuff on
So
Twitch
you can
before,
do that.
but
Say, yes, I continue on to participate. I can take on more. I can do it.
You know-
We're not doing that on this channel.
no.
Really
You know, I would have to actually get
then
a
when you
wax
have
before.
FAs and
Oh,
neurologists
I'm just gonna be
accessing,
frank.
you might fit that
I have a
criteria.
Chewbacca on my
You're in the
back.
system, you've been prepped, you
Chewbacca
understand
on
how
your
some of
back.
these things
That
work.
is-
I mean, even if you don't have hair, they shave you before they tattoo you.
Oh yeah, no, the shave. Yeah, they'd be spending 6 hours trying to shave
Still
it.
look it up on your own.
That's what my mom always called it. She's like, "Hey, pull your shirt down. Your Chewbacca's sticking
You are
out."
in Huntington's disease.
Yeah, thanks for
And
clarifying.
I'd just respond with Wookiee yells.
Yeah, I'd just add that, in doing a clinical trial, the scientists get answers quicker when they're studying folks.
I don't know about you,
earlier
but I feel like I
in
need to
the
like do a couple laps.
That's
Do a couple laps.
major reason.
Oh, my knees.
Oh yeah? You got those old man knees.
Oh, I wasn't joking about the knees. I've had both my hips, and my right shoulder dislocated.
Wow.
That was in 8th grade.
All of that was in 8th grade?
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to
Yeah.
Deg said, bummed I'm not in person today, but super happy you all are streaming it.
Oh, of course.
Hey.
And here's the thing. If you ever want to reach out to just come and hang out, I'm always down. I have a pull-out couch.
Some of the studies mentioned.
I've been telling H he can use the pull-out couch, but he apparently going to bed with your wife is better.
Definitely my preference.
You know, Erica's giving me that look. I can't believe you actually said that.
Experiences of people that do find their
Pretty
way
sure
I
my
think
mom
our,
gave me
I think
that
our
whole.
mic might be picking up a lot.
So there's ways that
Like a little
Is it
heavy.
sounding okay?
participate, not necessarily in a drug trial at the moment.
Deg, we're just glad that we could bring it to you. I mean, we wouldn't be able to make this happen without Game Over HD and HD Reach in general, and the community that that you all are providing and helping us grow. It's we're lucky to be here to be able to do this for you. That's a good question. Is there a country that's spearheading
So a couple of things
HD
globally.
research?
So, in the 2 leading regulatory agencies in the world would be the FDA here locally.
Actually,
and then
apparently,
the European Medical
can't hear it that well.
Agency,
Oh,
which is an
perfect.
agency
Okay.
Which covers all of
We're
Europe
gonna
and
actually
part of the
boost
UK.
them.
So when you think about pathways for approval.
All right, if you're just joining us,
those two
welcome.
organizations
We
lead
are
the trends and then
at
what
the
other
Ask
countries follow.
the Experts
There's a
panel right
large
now.
conversation on access and individual approval process that
Uh,
is really complicated.
The audience is
But when
asking
it comes to
questions
the approval
to a
process
panel of
in the
experts,
US,
and they are
and the UK,
providing
those are the most aggressive and
great
most
answers.
responsive that tend to
So we're
tend to
sitting here, we're learning a lot
when
right
you're
now.
looking at clinical trials, it's the collective data. So it's not necessarily country-owned data.
You
or
know, I'm sending this to
country-specific
my
data.
sister.
You're
I'm gonna
looking
give her
at
crap if she
specific
doesn't open it.
Trial drug therapy results that are taken
I would say
into
do it the
impact
same for your
for
sister, but she's
wherever
playing
they're
with
being held.
birds.
So
Mhm.
it's not that something would necessarily show signs of approval process faster in a country. It would be dependent on where they kind of fit in that whole story of how the science is showing improvement or effectiveness and efficacy of a certain therapy. So again, it gets a little bit complicated when you look at it globally, but really it's the story of the whole clinical trial that they look into it. This is a rare disease. So in order to have the amount of people who would be significant, clinically significant to show improvement, you need to diversify and have many sites, many locations, because you do have to be really specific with that inclusion and exclusion criteria. So in my opinion, we need to continue to have more and more sites who are able to facilitate clinical trials, because we need more and more numbers, more and more representatives to get faster approval.
Yeah, so trials are certainly being done in Europe and in the United States, and both places in the same study in some cases. But again, something that gets approved in Europe, if it's not approved in the U.S. yet, there are different rules, but there's certainly.
I think that's like a crazy thing to think about. Like the rules for approval of medication is different by like regions and countries. And you would think when it comes to medication, it would just be across the board of, how do we do this safely, quickly, and for the betterment of everyone?
You would think.
And it's like, that's just an insane thought that, some of the, and like, I know with the FDA, some of the stuff is all behind a paywall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so unless you're able to do XYZ PDQ, it never happens.
Mm-hmm. There's so many barriers to cross that it takes pulling lots of different organizations in to help produce validity and very clear science to even get into like clinical trial stages. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I believe like the first step of a clinical trial takes on average a decade to get through.
I would definitely believe that.
Senator from North Carolina, it's Tillis and Bud. You can leave a message for those offices. Same thing, and people do pay attention to these things.
One of the more amazing things going on right now. We're actually running at 60 FPS.
Easily found at
Hey,
we could play Call of Duty.
202-224-3121. That number gets you to the switchboard, and then you can say, I'd like to leave a message for Senator Tillis, and they connect you to his machine, and you leave
There's
a message
actually
whatever you want to say. If you want to support
So
funding,
what's
say,
really cool
preserve NIH funding.
about what he's talking
wanna
about,
support,
there's actually a
Medicaid folks
website that has pre-written responses that you can type into, like you put in your email, sign in, and then you can click down on the website to send preset messages to senators.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Erica, are you familiar with it?
So I know there's also an app called 5Call. So that you look at you put your address in, and then it'll show you who your representatives are, and then it has a prescript and it has different topics.
And that app is called 5Call. Yes.
So for anybody that didn't hear that, Erica was just helping us out with a resource where you could create some of these contacts and know who to contact. It's an app called 5Call. It'll tell you who your specific location representatives would be, and then it gives you a prescript to talk about what you're interested in and telling your representatives.
You will. Same with your representative. If you live in Mebane, then whoever the representative there, that's the one that's going to care about what you say. Other questions?
Even though I live in North Carolina, I still send stuff to the Illinois representatives.
As you should.
I say we just get like set up the website to just send it to all 50 states. Like just put in your email, auto sends to all 50 states, and see what. Just imagine like just 1,000 people sending it to every senator.
Deg just asked a question. Are there other HD Reach events we should make sure we are keeping an eye out for? That's a great question. I do not know off the top of my head, but you know what? You can go to hdreach.org, and you can scour their website, and they would have information about what is upcoming, if anything's upcoming.
Yeah, so
Okay, so if
I'm trying to think. We already did our golf tournament, correct? Or is that the next thing?
somebody's got a court order to review medical
Paddleboard
records,
competition. That is the next
there's
thing.
laws about that, but
Yep.
Interesting.
I know one of the raffles today is
but testing results as part of a clinical trial
has the golf tournament.
is part of the medical record. That's protected information.
Oh, okay.
But there's no guarantee
Sweet.
that
There we go.
somebody can't get that information if they.
I just found this really nifty building community calendar on their
Ooh.
website.
We've got book club, so education day, special guests, Betsy McFarland, Charlotte meetup.
Yeah, it talks about a lot of the meetup locations. I just recently heard about the Tuesday HD happy hour meetups. Sounds really, really fun.
What kind of happy hour?
I think it's just called happy hour, but it's an HD meetup. It's just a group of people coming together. That's just their specific title.
To participate in a clinical trial, there'd be added visits. So you'd have to weigh out how do you
Some really cool stuff on the calendar here.
Do you have to take leaves of absence, FMLA?
Yeah, it would be awesome to see you out here, Dag.
To disclose some kind of information.
You know,
depending on where you work.
H, what is one kind of HD event would you like to plan?
A backpacking trip.
Ooh. Oh, we could just do the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yep.
Just casually?
Oh, sure. Take us what? Just Tuesday afternoon?
A Tuesday. Just a light stroll on a Tuesday afternoon. A backpacking trip would be super cool. Liability would be an issue there because overnight stuff. Blah, blah,
Oh, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But just materials in general, backpacks.
Where
What's that?
would you?
Yeah, Erica's liability for sure. Old peg leg over there.
It's okay. It would be my luck that I would like trip and fall over myself. Just go right down the mountain. I'll wave at least when I go down. I won't scream out of respect for everyone else. I'll just wave.
Silence.
Different interventions that might be helpful in a smarter way. So instead of
It's just respect.
It's just respect.
I don't want to hurt other people's eardrums.
Using this ginormous computer model, and that's going to save resources.
See, for me,
Especially in this environment.
I want to put together a
Resources are especially
Magic the Gathering Commander tournament.
So I think using a
Oh, yeah.
computer to our
Just
advantage is
see-
going to be really
ooh.
helpful. But
I
your
think I need
medical
another cup of
care,
coffee.
decisions about medications,
But
and
just have
things,
like as
just
many people come out
one-on-one,
and play
going
games,
through
like
everything that's going on in your life with your provider.
and like there.
And I want to just add to that
Deadpool's
AI
now
for
a card.
all of us in everyday use.
pretty cool.
I've
I
discovered
got it,
being
too.
a caregiver that
Really?
Google
Yeah.
You don't have it here with you, do you?
No, it comes in on Tuesday.
So if
okay.
my
Yes,
parent
my
ever needs
SpongeBob
something
got in
like
today.
wandering, what I do is
And
I
no,
go
I'm not
to
joking.
Google and say,
Yes, seriously,
how does
SpongeBob.
trouble
Interesting.
Wandering in dementia, for example, you don't need to put HD in, and I get all these suggestions and resources that I never would have thought of myself because I'm tired and I've got a million things on my shoulders, right? Like put a curtain over the door so your parent doesn't see the door, right? So
Hey, it's Peg
these
Leg
things
Round
are
Two.
phenomenally helpful, and I encourage you all to play around with it just to see what is out there at your fingertips for help.
And I just add that.
Just so y'all know, we will have an ad break coming up in about 4 minutes. It'll be another 30-second ad, I believe.
See, I told you guys, Peg Leg Round Two.
And so that can.
Marianne, woo!
Is used properly.
You know, Marianne, I was talking about you earlier.
Kind of like the animal study that's.
All,
You know-
all horrible things.
When we were in Schaumburg, Illinois, Marianne let me wear her tutu as I sang House of Gold.
All right.
We all made bad decisions.
That was a great decision. Thank you very
I
much.
love it. Thank
I was beautiful.
Sorry, folks.
Stop. No, just stop. Here we go again. Oh, we have to do
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
Yes, that is an actual card. That is like.
I have, and maybe Marion.
I wish we could get that pulled up. No way.
I can pull that up really easy.
Maybe we'll do that right before lunch break or
It's
something.
hard for me to go do anything, and my support network is busy most of the time. Is there anything I can do to get better?
I'll start and then you can finish. So, the internet can be a wonderful thing. It can also be a very bad thing for us. But if you have HD and you're not able to drive.
Have you
or get out
ever had any
easily,
bad HD experiences because of the internet?
Because of the internet?
Because of the internet.
Honestly, fortunately not, but I've also chosen to keep historically, I've chosen to keep HD off the internet as far as like how it's impacted me, and also my involvement. Obviously, that is changing. So I'm sure that I will have that experience somewhere down the road. But fortunately, I have not had that experience.
So I know I was talking about it earlier. I had that science class where the teacher let the other girls do Huntington's disease instead of the person with firsthand Huntington's disease experience. He's like, well, you're not really learning anything if that's the case.
It can be a great organic way for new connections.
But what better way for other people to learn?
Right. I'm like, he's like, yeah, but, and I'm like, no. And I still did. I did my project and their project.
Hey,
because
somebody's got to.
After they did their project, I did both of mine because it was wrong. It was very, very poor.
You said, well, and anyway, here's the real.
But that ended up being my bad internet experience because they used Wikipedia sources and things like that to just get the very baseline of Huntington's versus here. And I even tried to say hey, I have resources if you guys have questions. And they said, no, we can use Google just fine. And I'm like,
and probably just use overarching generalized information about HD.
Non-specifics with no care about the entirety of it.
Help for HD. There are so many organizations who have a variety of different.
All right, guys, we are hitting our ad break in 1 minute. So at 11:40, then. Oh.
It's a great gaming program where you don't have to talk about it, but you have an online community to participate.
Ree says she sent you an email.
So ask us, any of us, at any point, because we can help figure out what your niche is, what you're needing, and how we all can help support you as well. Because those are great too, because you need to have a community around you where you're not necessarily thinking or talking about HD to be able to do activities and feed your soul, but collectively, we have such a big community here, especially for those who maybe feel like they don't know where to start. Reach out to any organization.
She's
crouched over there.
I believe in her. Mary Ann is going to do the Hunter exam next year. Are you familiar with the Hunter exam? It's from. Look. There you go, Ree. Just for you.
Disability who have difficulty getting out of the home. So you can go to YouTube and find videos of walking tours.
So the Hunter exam is from an anime called Hunter x Hunter.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Okay, great anime.
A lot of global museums.
Don't pay attention to Hisoka. That's all I'm gonna say. Just ignore it.
Okay.
But the Hunter exam is this multi-part excursion. That's the only way I can describe it. Of everyone trying to be part of the Hunter Association. So, Mary Ann's going to do it next year.
I just signed you up for
Notorious.
What? I don't even know what apparently I'm doing something. I have no idea what I'm doing.
So, this year, I think it was, they said you had to plan for a maximum of a 15 mile run. They ended up doing 8 miles. And only the top 40% finish get to move forward.
Top 40% time wise?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I believe like the slowest one was like a 9-minute mile of who passed like into the top
Sure.
40%. The
Sure.
slowest was 9-minute mile. I think the fastest
training to do.
was ended up being like 5 minutes and change.
That's unbelievable.
Like I think it was like 5:40.
That is insane. I got some work to do.
Are you kidding me? I'm pretty sure I have like a 40-minute mile.
40-minute mile. Are you dragging your?
I also will help guide with that too, or there are financial advisors at each institution that can help with that also. So we never want to turn anyone away. We have people come to us because you have to think that some people don't have health insurance, they don't have a primary care provider. We have individuals that live in rural areas where the health department is where they go.
There we go.
Help. So you
Wouldn't
can't
let me
say,
type
"Oh,
the
start
number
with your
6.
primary care provider to get a report."
I guess because that 0 was sitting there.
Yeah. It won't let you,
You don't
do
want
60
to do
decibels.
60 decibels.
You know, so I work at Lowe's right now.
Okay.
Every time someone asks me like, why do they tell you the decibels on the dishwashers? And I'm like, so it's that loud. They're like, well, how loud is like 47 decibels? Because that's like the good range. 50, you don't want a 50 decibel one. And I'm like, well, if just so that you know, 64 decibels is what will get you a ticket while you're driving. Like, so if you're playing your music too loud, 64 decibels is what you can get pulled over for and get a ticket.
Fun facts with Drake.
Oh yeah, I use that to sell dishwashers.
That's great.
And I'm like, they're like, how did you find that out? I put a really big sound system in a 03 Buick Rendezvous. And then I sat in a parking lot and turned it all the way up.
Interesting. What is laughing, crying faces?
Care navigator, they should be able to let you know that. Okay, so we definitely don't
Marianne,
want to think
Ree says, laugh, cry.
that is a main factor that hinders a lot of people as well as travel.
Not me.
So the beautiful thing
Oh no,
is
it's definitely you.
connecting with them.
I don't know. I think Ree's talking about the fun facts with Drake.
For individuals who have to come far.
I don't know. She makes fun of me for everything anyway.
So things like that are important. And
You should have seen her when we were in Spokane, Washington.
So anything we can do to
Like,
make that process easier.
She just makes fun of me.
That's what we're here to do.
Hey,
What else are sisters for though?
that's right. That's exactly right. Definitely fun facts.
Definitely fun facts. Of all the things, right? You know. Hey, at least you know never to go over 64 decibels now.
Yeah. I always keep a decimal reader in my car for that reason.
Wait, a decimal
A
reader?
decibel.
Those are all things that I can help you with. You can
Gotta do
call
my
me,
sisterly
ask
duty.
me, depending on where you live. If I can get you connected with Duke or UNC or Wake Forest, I will definitely do so and do a warm handoff so it's not so scary.
You know
Right?
what
We
I
have
think
some
we should
wonderful
start
videos
bringing
on our
to these
YouTube channel,
What's
events?
of
that?
the clinics,
A
right?
chiropractor.
Come tour the clinic, show
Ooh.
us, and
Like,
Oh,
imagine
you know?
having an on-site chiropractor at an HD event.
I don't know that. I mean, people might miss out on the sessions to go to the chiropractor though.
And so if we can't get
True.
you
I don't know.
Breaks.
I feel.
During breaks.
I mean, hey, and Stomatic too, because you know, chiropractor breaks, fixing my back by cracking. Yeah. No. I think
A great coupling.
yes. Because I'm pretty sure if I bend just right.
Oh no. Don't hurt yourself. Last time you stretched,
I,
you ended up in a wheelchair.
seriously. Yeah. I was doing the
Don't show me. Don't
crossbody
show
one,
me. Don't show me.
And I'm okay now.
I'm
I'm okay now. I went to the chiropractor and got fixed. I was still in the wheelchair for 3 months though. But no, I was literally doing this one and then pulling my knee up to stretch out, and my disc slipped, hit my sciatic nerve, and I just went right down.
Because there are so many
That's insane.
I still can't feel anything in my calf.
feelings that individuals have, and those feelings can
Seriously, like this?
So if you're asking
No way.
No, nothing.
which under 18 they wouldn't
That's
be
wild.
It's just there.
such a
It's just
thing
there.
It's there for looks at this point.
is going to be with them for the rest of their lives. As a parent, I can completely
No, if I had to do an entire tirade about how I got injured,
for that young person to make when they're ready.
it'd take a
Now,
while.
the reason is because how many of you all
Injuries
think
with
and
Drake.
feel and believe the exact
That could be an
same thing
entire
that
series. Imagine if I made a video game of just the different ways I got hurt.
people a lot.
It's like Dumb Ways to Die, but just
Dumb ways to hurt. So many dumb ways to hurt. Whether it's physical or mental, I can show you all the ways.
Then they start to talk to people and they start to really think about the impacts. And we have a genetic testing checklist on our table because it asks them these questions.
I'll be
Like,
here
what
all
would
week,
you do
folks.
with this knowledge? How would this change your life? And they might start thinking about that. And they may be ready. They may be supported. They've got everything at home set. They've got a good clinical team around them. And they may, after going through genetic counseling, say, yep, I'm ready, let's do this. And that's great. But they need to be properly empowered to make that decision for themselves.
H, have you ever met with a genetic counselor before?
Tune in.
come to the session.
Experiences and reasons why they did this. But getting tested without fully understanding
Journey through the negative. It isn't always positive, and I'll tell you all about it. The short answer is yes, but it was only to receive my test results, and that was it.
I'm sorry to hear that. My genetic counselor was Shauna Healy. She was amazing. The psychologist I got for it, though, that was probably one of the worst experiences I've had in life, because she researched me before I came in.
Interesting.
Yeah, so she went through my Facebook and found out that I had went through a really bad breakup, and she went through everything.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Oh, I felt terrible. It was just bad.
Yeah.
Imagine
You should really only know the things that I've told you.
or having and the whole point was to have an adult conversation
Right.
about how I'm feeling about Huntington's and being tested for it and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think we touched on that maybe once or twice, the whole conversation. And I'm like, I don't like this anymore. Shauna was amazing, though. I will.
Reese said that's creepy.
Yeah, 100% it is creepy. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, it was just weird.
Certain things that are developmental delays that could happen in many young
Oh,
people.
my watch told me I gotta stand up.
Just not wanting to pay attention to school, trauma.
Wait, stand up for a minute.
HD family can manifest in a lot of different ways. So it's important to rule out those things. In
Drake, you stay right there. Don't stretch too hard.
Before going through testing, because again, someone may be gene positive, but having symptoms related to other
There we go. I'm going to give ourselves a posture check.
Posture check.
Oh, we got it. Ready? Oh.
That is what?
I wonder what would happen if Betsy just jumped on. I feel like we're
She's
going
like, what is happening right now?
And
I don't think I approved this one.
That'd be the 1 second that she's watching.
Oh, yeah. She's like, let me pull it up. Why are they twerking? Wait, no, I don't know if she would call it twerking.
No, it's posture checking.
Forward with our program just a little ahead of schedule, which is always a good thing, because we have lunch waiting, which is always a good thing.
Oh, I like lunch.
I want to invite our pharmaceutical sponsors to make their way up here. We always like to give our sponsors an opportunity to introduce themselves
sponsors.
to you.
We love
We
sponsors.
start with Neuroquin, and then everybody else can go after Neuroquin, and then, and this is like
Do
a
some chair push-ups.
1 or 2 minute kind of thing. This is not a long scientific talk. And then I want to invite
Careful.
all of our other exhibitors.
Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Terry,
Oh, no. Don't start cracking on me.
advocacy
Oh.
organizations and
Is it your knee?
to also
No,
just
that was my
briefly
ankle.
introduce themselves,
That was
and then
my
you'll have a
hand.
chance. We are
That's why your
planning
knees
to
hurt.
Go to lunch so we can take a break. We have lunch in a buffet.
No
So
way.
it's gonna be back there.
I heard you
So
popping your wrist earlier. I don't know how you did that.
If anyone needs assistance or has any mobility concerns, if we could let them.
I actually
know
had a
first so
washing
they can
machine
go
follow
through
me the other
without
day,
being,
and I didn't realize that my wrist was slightly dislocated and it reset my wrist.
And then
So now I have full
we
range of
invite
motion
you,
again.
going in the back. So you're gonna sit in chairs. Look at y'all. Wow.
Injuries with Drake.
Like I said, I've got stories.
Your little whatever. You can do it.
Wait, what are we supposed to drop? Undrop it like it's
Yeah, I will pop and lock it.
Mama Bear is
I will
there.
pop and lock it right now.
Hey,
I'm gonna go get your wife. Okay.
She'd be like, "This is normal."
are you kidding me? Mine just shakes her head at this point.
I mean, yeah, we know what to expect for Drake from Drake.
Standard
We
activities.
don't know H that well just yet.
I still remember the first HDSA conference I went to in Baltimore. They sold me as a dancer. So, what's the one that you do? What's the song that you do this dance for?
Like, like dollar, that one. 5 cents, 2 cents, 25. That one.
No. I can't remember what it was.
Or is it Tandem style or Gangnam style?
No, shoot, I get.
You do do that, though.
Older than that.
Older than that.
Older than that. It was Whip It.
So watch me whip.
No.
Watch me nay.
No, Whip It. Like, whip it real good.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
We were not old enough. I could have given birth to you. Sorry. Whip it real good. There's a dance to that.
No, that was the song, and I was doing that motion.
We remain dedicated to relentlessly pursuing research and development in medicine.
I'm just gonna leave that right there.
Oh no, those when they sell the dancers, they get pretty wild up there.
I'm starting to.
Dude, don't you dare put Whitney Houston on up there. It's going down.
Well, right
My
now
brain
you
is-
would go down.
I am with a company called Spark Therapeutics.
You know,
Spark is
I broke H. I'm so sorry.
I'm brainstorming fundraising right now.
And Spark is
I do put,
Good womanless beauty pageant.
gene therapy.
I mean,
AAV gene therapy functionally is
I'll put on a
trying to
dress.
use genetic material
I've done one once
genetic
before.
disease
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
at a certain
Erica,
level,
you cool if I borrow one of yours?
If you had a chance to stop by earlier, or if you
We're gonna do a beauty pageant between H and I to do a fundraiser.
my science models, how gene therapy
With a talent session.
Huntington's disease
A dress.
will work to lower overall Huntington.
At least the thoughts
I
there.
have plenty of choo-choos if anybody needs.
The clinic.
And as I age, they get longer.
Study
So.
that
I'll borrow some Jimmy Choos.
it's up
I don't
on
have them.
ClinicalTrials.gov.
I have sneakers.
We are really honored.
That I believe. I feel like Marianne has like really fancy sneakers though. Like,
Yeah, she can afford fancy sneakers now because she only needs one.
Not for long, alright?
They're half price.
We don't go to social work for money.
wait, no. She splits the cost. She just finds someone else who needs the other shoe.
Yeah, Erica.
My name is Derek.
It's true. They have opposite foot injuries.
That is.
I need to stop talking. I keep saying something wrong.
I'm not sharing a shoe with nobody.
I won't wear it.
No,
It's a new shoe.
imagine if you and your wife had the same shoe size,
Oh,
and you like
I
accidentally
ruined her shoes.
and you like accidentally like walked out of the house wearing her shoes. Like you get to work and be like, dang, I wore her heels today.
Classic. Yeah, classic
Darn,
mistake.
I meant to wear my steel-toed boots, but I ended up in heels.
Walking out on the job site.
This is my favorite one.
Big Gary. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it is quite literally just Gary the Snail. You also have Patrick. Patrick does nothing.
Results from that study back in June of last year.
Just for
So,
fun.
yeah, they picked one of the very, very few legendary creatures in Magic that does nothing.
And we're currently in the process of
Fair
designing
enough.
our next study, which is going to be a larger global study of 003. And we plan to submit a clinical trial application for that study
Did we miss
in the
something?
second half of this year. There's no doubt that we wouldn't be where we are today without partnerships with organizations like HD Reach, as well as our ongoing conversations with individuals, families, and advocates that are impacted by HD. And so as we move our program forward, we are really
They
committed to continuing to have
oh, they even made
to make sure that the experiences and the perspectives of the community are incorporated into our decision-making processes. And so WAVE and me personally would really value the opportunity to come to events like this one today where we can listen and we can learn from all of you. So thank you, Betsy, thank you, HD Reach, and thank you all. Please come by our table. I'd love to tell you a little bit more about WAVE and just to say hi. So thank you again.
You know, this is the most expensive
Good
one.
afternoon, everyone. My name
This is a random bonus card you can pull. It is right now going for $650. Wow. Oh, Magic cards are expensive. I'll show you after this. That Iron Man deck box has $3,500 worth of cards in it. No, I'm not joking.
You gotta be protective of that stuff.
I left it in. I left roughly $8,000 in this room last night. Woo.
This building was locked up tight yesterday.
Oh yes, it was. I accidentally set off the alarm because I held the door open too long so that Madison could get back inside. It got very mad at me. The door did not want to be open.
Yeah.
Is keeping you up at 3 in the morning? What are we not answering? What is your passion? And how do we continue to support you?
I feel really bad
Despite Huntington.
because she said, "What are we not answering?" And my brain immediately said phone.
Along with the lovely Dr. Mary
I know I shouldn't have, but like,
And I look forward to
it's one of those
continued
auto
support.
responses.
HD Reach, you're phenomenal, each and every one of you, from volunteers to everyone. I'm honored to be here, I love to be here, and I hope to support you. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey today.
I really enjoy when the people doing the research show up to these events.
Oh yeah, you know, being invested in this whole thing like shows that they're in it for more than just the hey, we're here to make medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're here because of the people themselves.
That's right.
Jenna, anybody else? Josh, you want to come say hello? Josh, HDSA, our state chapter president. Woo.
You should see how fast you can run.
Me?
Yeah.
Why?
See if you can't get on there. You should do it.
A run downstairs and
Do
grab
it.
the microphone?
Like just bolt. I believe in you.
HDSA is, we're sort of the national organization, and we partner with HD Reach on a lot of these things. We're super grateful for their work, especially in some of the rural communities. HDSA isn't able to kind of get to.
I'd send Erica, but
we have a table back there.
That'd be a slow.
It's in Indianapolis this year.
thunk, 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 thunk.
You know, different things you can get involved in as far as HDSA, some volunteer opportunities and things like that. So, yeah, we'd love you to stop by. And most of our work is kind of in this area around Raleigh, but I'm in Charlotte. We have a couple people in Asheville as well. So, hopefully, we're sort of meeting people all over the state, and hopefully covering all of you.
Oh, I remembered what the song was.
Anybody else?
Bow, bow,
Come up here,
bow,
Mr. Versace. Come say hello.
bow, bow. You know what I'm that?
Oh, he even put his jacket on.
No, what is?
He's
It's
official.
it's from the 90s.
I heard that from somebody else here who's wearing a jacket.
I'm gonna have to Shazam it once we get into the
Perfect.
hall and just be like, "What's this song?" Bow, bow, bow.
We are a law firm that's focused on helping people prevent problems rather than cleaning them up later. So we do
Yeah.
a lot of work in the estate planning field.
I hate
to get
cleaning.
the right documents and strategies
That's why they stop you from having to clean it up later.
So we.
I feel like we'd be great at slogans. They'd all be dad jokes, but
Oh, for sure.
Get everything in place. I'm also going to bring up Mike Brooks. He's our asset coordinator for the law firm, but he also does a lot of work with us in what we call the care
they're going to be
system.
on here at. Is that? I can't read that.
Thanks, Jim. So, yeah, Mike.
What time? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
I can't read.
115 to 125.
That is the worst font to ever use.
That's a tough one.
In helping plan strategies around
I wear glasses.
financial planning.
I wear contacts.
Medicaid planning, Medicare, long-term care, and it's been a wonderful journey. This
I
last
can't
12 months.
read. I can't read it. The letters run away.
Did you say your brother was an English teacher?
Oh, and I'm about to be. I think that's the bigger irony. You just can't read. The letters run away.
Thank you.
Okay, now Melissa has raffle ticket and raffle prize information, and then.
Oh, Melissa, shout out.
Yeah, don't forget, I gave you candy. Candy was helpful, right? Yes? Yes, good. We love Werther's, we love peppermints. I can live off those things. So we're about to open the doors for
I feel
luncheon.
like
Again,
Melissa
like
just pulled a
everyone
Markiplier.
has mobility needs, for those who are gluten-free,
Do you know what I'm
just let the
referencing
chefs
to?
know.
No, I don't. I know Markiplier.
So, Markiplier, there's this entire meme of when he's like trying to talk, and he's like, saying something, and he's holding this bell, and he, as he's talking, every time he like thinks people are getting distracted, he goes jingle, jingle, jingle. So, she just went, hey, remember the candy? Remember the candy? Now this is what I'm talking about. Wait, remember the candy?
That was good. Good
She-
speaking point.
Oh yeah, remember the candy?
And her fiance
Melissa!
is working hard. Besides the
Melissa's been on
raffle
for
ticket
35
sales,
minutes and you did it
we
just for
also
you.
have on the end here, we have a free wheelchair to give away. This is
Well,
gonna
I
be
mean, this is
approximately
her
$5
like
cost.
talking though.
It folds up. One person can lift it. I prefer two. Not too heavy though. Simple wheelchair, but it's free. All you have to do is write your name and phone number on the back of one of those raffle tickets.
That's awesome.
And please
Free
don't use
wheelchair
it
giveaway.
because I want
Can I
you
borrow
to-
it?
I don't want to take it home.
Yeah, somebody's got to test it out.
So, feel free to put in a ticket for that. Another thing is that make sure you go to registration. You get your T-shirts, your
Live
swag bags if you
demonstrations.
haven't already.
Oh, I forgot to
We're
go
also
down
selling
there
some of
this
our long
morning.
sleeve HD Reach
To the
T-shirts
table.
over in the foyer as
Like-
well. Those are $30.
Oh,
I-
yeah, no, you definitely need to go stop by
Not bad then.
for lunch
Something
and
like that.
at least get your name tag, and you got your, don't forget your lanyard.
During the Blue Be the Alien
Woo.
world premiere theater production
Yes.
in our kids room. So we'll have all the tickets pulled and ready to go. Hopefully you guys stick around for that. And
Your
I think
tap.
That's it. Yeah.
Just made the microphone go insane.
That was my ring hitting the table.
Two-sided buffet. We love that.
Nice.
Easy
Two-sided?
access. So the open door where Betsy is
I love
standing
easy
and
access.
that's where we will
Is that
enter.
there?
That, yeah, I did. Okay, yeah, I didn't. I'm gonna
I
have.
hope that.
Yeah.
I really hope that my wife gets down there and puts in for some of the
Alright,
raffle
enjoy lunch,
stuff.
everyone. Oh,
She
one more
probably.
thing, really quick.
Don't give me
Who
Melissa
is
a
in our
microphone.
book
She won't
club?
stop.
Who's in our book
Can't
club?
stop.
I'm
won't
in the book
stop.
club.
Bobby, Judy,
They're doing
Debbie,
a picture,
Bobby,
group
your
picture
book club.
downstairs. Right at break.
Book club, book club. Everyone in our book club, let's go to the big back.
You know what? I want to do a video game book club.
Interesting.
Just no. We all play like a story-driven video game, and we'll all beat it together, and then we talk about the story.
Actually, not too bad.
Like I feel like that is just.
Walkthrough. Cohesive walkthrough.
Oh yeah.
I was just, I didn't know you could hear me.
Sorry, we don't want to offend you, Marianne. I know walking is hard right now.
It's not. Have I complained once? To being stuck in this room with you two.
I think Aaron's gonna eat really quick and then come up.
Because you guys are doing interviews, right?
I think I'm
Yes.
gonna put maybe 12:30.
I
Sure.
do love you guys, just FYI.
Want to
Oh yeah.
I do.
Love you.
12:45.
Be safe wherever you're going.
I don't even know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Lunch?
I can't be stuck in here.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, we're gonna take this chance to go ahead and break for lunch, and We will be back at 12:45. We're gonna exist, get some food. I'm gonna get some coffee. I need another cup.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we will see you guys then.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
There
So
we go.
hopefully you all got a chance to grab some lunch too. We devoured as quickly as we could so we could come back and bring you some conversation with a couple of great authors. We've got Aaron Patterson and Emma Weiswasser. Perfect.
Better than I. Better to fly.
And we're here just to chat about their books. So how about we just get started with the titles first of your books, Aaron?
The first book I wrote was called All Good Things, and that's a memoir about finding out Huntington's disease runs in my family and how that impacted my decisions around deciding to have kids.
We actually
Yes.
showed that one earlier this morning.
Right.
Yeah, we did.
Perfect.
I got very lucky last night. My wife won the raffle, so I do have the book here, and I'll be reading that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And after that, I put together a book called Huntington's Disease Heroes, which I know a lot of people have seen.
Yep.
It has the
Absolutely
blue cover.
love that book.
And I didn't write that one, but I gathered all the people together to help them share their stories in that book. So there's 26 stories from 9 different countries, and everybody wrote in their own words, their own story in their own words. I didn't change a single word without people's permission.
Wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, so and every time there was like a little edit, they approved everything within their story. So I felt it was very important for people to be able to speak in their own voices.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Emma, what about yourself? What are you doing?
I wrote Bloopy the Alien Learns About Huntington's Disease. It's a children's book about a curious little alien named Bloopy. He comes to Earth. He wants to learn about my species. He meets me and my family. And I introduce him to my grandpa who has Huntington's disease. And he's like, why does he use a walker? Why isn't he answering my questions right away? So I teach him about the symptoms of HD.
So what inspired Bloopy? Just as a alien itself, what inspired you to make Bloopy?
Well, she kind of helped. She was like, when she was putting together Huntington's Disease Heroes, she was like, Emma, do you want to write a book? A chapter, I mean. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I have no ideas. And she's like, what about an alien? And I was like, okay, that's a pretty good idea. How can I incorporate an alien into this story? I thought, well, like aliens, they're from a different planet. They don't know anything. They're curious. They want to learn. So that's how Bloopy came to be.
Nice. Aaron, I was going to ask you, while you were explaining the HD Heroes book, and you said that you worked on bringing the authors together for their individual sections. Did any of those have to be translated?
No, they were all in English.
They were all English.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious if you had to face that challenge or not.
No.
Is there... Now, we've had some conversation today about specifically impacted communities that are a little harder to reach, like we heard today, Venezuela, for instance. Do you have any interest in diving into those harder to access groups and sharing their stories?
It's been an idea in the back of my head. I'm just not sure how I'd accomplish a task like that.
How feasible that would be?
Because for HD Heroes, I had Zoom calls with everybody, and then we mostly communicated by email in terms of editing their stories. On the next book I did after that, we had monthly Zoom calls with my writers, and we just developed this little community of people that were together chatting. So I would have to figure out how to do that.
Okay.
I have had somebody reach out from Germany who is interested in getting All Good Things translated into German, but it was just too cost prohibitive to be able to do that. But
So, a question for both of you. When it comes to telling the HD story, your story, or telling it through another form of medium, what do you find most important?
just being authentic and sharing your own story. If we're not sharing what it's like to be impacted by Huntington's disease, then how are people ever going to understand our life experiences, right? We all feel so misunderstood in so many ways. So that's what empowers me to write and share my story, because I'm in a safe place where my husband is supportive of it. I'm not worried about losing my job. and my family's pretty okay with it. But that's not the case for everybody. So I feel like, well, at least if I could share my story, that can help impact other people. Maybe they'll read something in my story and that will help them get through to the next day. Or maybe they'll, give the book to somebody else in their family and say, hey, I kind of feel like this too. And it'll give a voice to their experiences as well if they're not able to have their own and sometimes.
What she said.
Fair enough. Well said.
Yeah.
Do you see, did you ever come to a point where you're like midway through these collections or your book, All Good Things, and you're like, nope, not doing this, shutting it down? And if you did, how did you overcome that?
Well, like every time you approach writing something, it's a tough emotional experience. And so you have to push through those tough emotions. Or sometimes when I'm writing something, I don't even quite understand what I'm trying to get out. And so the process of writing is helping you discover that. So there's always a point in the story when I'm like, I'm not even sure what it's going to look like or how this is going to turn out. So I find it's always tricky during that point of writing. But no, I feel pretty empowered to keep writing and keep sharing the stories. And my husband and my daughter are very encouraging as well. They always encourage me to keep going. So I do have a big support system in that way. I just really, really am passionate about helping other people share their stories as well, because I think it's so important. I think it all starts with storytelling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The theme of today.
Yeah.
Right. Emma, so what year are you in school?
I'm in 7th grade.
7th grade. Wow. What is one thing that you would want to tell your peers or other people who are impacted by HD that are in your age range? What's something you would want them to know?
Just that, everyone's different. I don't know. They just don't understand anything about this disease that impact so many people. And I think if they met someone with this disease, they wouldn't know how to treat them. So just basic, reading Bloopy, that would be good for them. Just learning how to treat these people.
What's something that you want them to understand then? Like one big thing.
I don't know.
That's a tough question.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, think about your grandpa maybe. What is one big thing you wish they understood about your grandpa?
That he needs time.
Oh yeah.
When we were, he was in hospital for a broken hip, and everyone thought he was nonverbal. Because he takes a minute. So just that he slow down when you talk to him. He's still there mentally. Just even if he can't always show it.
I completely understand. There needs to be an understanding and patience going into dealing with everyone on every level, especially with Huntington's disease. And sometimes that first step of kindness, care, and patience really can, open your entire world to something new.
Yeah. So last night you mentioned at the campfire session, just so everybody knows, you mentioned the potential for future Bloopy exploration. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Spend a day with his family, learn more about his disease, and maybe Bloopy will meet him.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Erin?
Oh, well, I was thinking of, because HD Heroes was from mainly the community members or impacted families, speaking about their experiences of HD, it would be really great to do one from HD professionals' point of view. So, people who are researching for a cure, social workers, clinicians, neurologists, all of those people who support our community. I think it would be really great to highlight why they're so passionate about their jobs. And, a lot of people I hear say, oh, I didn't know anything about Huntington's disease, but now I met the community and they're so wonderful and lovely, and I'm going to be in the community forever. I hear that so many times. And I think it would be really beautiful just to highlight those types of stories.
Absolutely. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit today, this morning. We were talking about how even if you're not directly impacted by Huntington's disease, if you take one step into the community, you're just overwhelmed with love, that it's really hard to visualize yourself anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so many times people will say to me, oh, people from the HD community are so grateful. Whenever I meet somebody from the HD community, they're saying thank you to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they love the community so much.
So before we go, how are we able to find your stories? Where can we go to purchase your books or read about them online?
Yep, all of our books are on Amazon worldwide.
Yes.
Awesome. Easy access.
Yes.
I like that.
Today, for those of you who do not know, is the world premiere of Bloopy, which Emma will be reading and being performed by our child care workers and children who are here today.
Very exciting day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, one last question, just for funsies. Do you believe in aliens?
Well, yeah, the universe is so expansive and there are millions and millions and millions of galaxies. So, like, we exist, so why is it unlikely for other creatures to exist?
I like it.
It was wonderful meeting you guys today. Thank you so much. And are you guys going to be in any breakout sessions later on?
I will be in 2 breakout sessions, one with Jenna from HDYO about talking to your kids about HD.
Nice.
And then the other one with you, which is the storytelling breakout session. Right. Yes. Perfect.
Okay, you're doubling up.
Yep.
Love to see that. Okay. Well, thanks again. And we will we'll let them out, and we'll be right back with y'all.
All right. See you then.
So thank you.
And the microphone is up. So thank you everyone for joining back in with us. Right now we have Dr. Moore and Ann from Duke University, and they're just going to be telling us who they are, what they do, and if you guys have questions, throw them in. If not, I'll fill the void. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Great. We're very excited to be here. This is our first time on Twitch. I'm Dr. Moore. I'm one of the HD specialists at Duke, and I'm really privileged to be a part of an amazing group of providers at Duke that help every week to take care of people and families with HD. And part of that is Ann, who's from our social work team.
Yep. Dr. Moore said it. My name's Ann Kosum. I'm a clinical social worker in the Movement Disorders Clinic at Duke, and specifically work as a clinical social worker and a center coordinator for HDSA. We're a center of excellence in North Carolina. So happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Oh yes, it's wonderful to have y'all. So my big question for you guys to start off with is, what got you in the field of HD?
Well, I've always been interested in the brain and neuroscience and neurology, and was really privileged to train as a neurologist and then as a movement disorder physician. And as part of that training, I was first introduced to the practice of care in HD. I think most doctors will read a paragraph at some point. This is HD and it's on this chromosome, etc. But it's not really till you meet people that you can start to understand what goes on in this disease, either for the individual with HD, people at risk, people in the family that are a part of their care team. And I just found people with HD so inspiring and resilient, and it's been a joy to take care of them and make this a part of my practice. So to me, it's been a wonderful journey of learning how best I can serve the community.
So I've been at Duke 26 years and had been working for the first 20 in oncology. And I worked for, a lot of that was in pediatrics, and so I worked with a lot of the parents. And so my shift actually was just sort of random. I had an opportunity to take a new position within Duke in the movement disorders clinic, so I didn't really know that much about Huntington's. I actually, earlier in my practice, I had helped a family who the father had HD, and I took care of their child and the family who was dealing with treatment. But fast forward, ended up in this role at Duke and have stumbled upon it, but love it. I have really enjoyed the opportunity to serve families, providing care to care partners, helping them navigate the medical system, helping them navigate a new diagnosis or diagnosis of a loved one. And that's really my love, is taking care of people who are sort of trying to navigate their way through the big scary health system sometimes. Yeah.
So, and you did mention that Duke is a center of excellence. Could you guys touch base on how you qualify and what it means to be a center of excellence?
Sure. We can. HDSA has an opportunity to receive grant money for designated centers of excellence, and they have criteria, and we have a center director, which is Dr. Scott, and then Allison and I co-share the role as a center coordinator, and really we're tasked with being available to educate and provide services to the whole state. Which, we certainly help our patients at Duke, but our support groups, our programming, the things we do, just even the support and care, we help anybody who calls us. As we know with HD, there's plenty of people who aren't tied in to a big medical center, who might be from rural parts, and they may call and ask questions and want to learn more about HD or the testing process, or how to care for their loved ones. So we just make ourselves accessible to anybody.
Yeah, I would just add on the clinical side, as a center of excellence, we're honored to have a big team that's part of what we do for care, and so that includes on a weekly basis physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, pharmacy, wonderful social work team, and the chaplain. And so they're there for patients who come and see the doctors. Hey, all these people are available to you to make sure we have comprehensive care. And so we are able to offer those services as well as access to clinical trials. And so it's really a one-stop shop kind of thing for all the things that you need. It's a long visit, as you can imagine, trying to do all those things. But the structure of the clinic allows us to take the time that an individual and a family needs to learn from all of those people, but also for us to collaborate, right? So if Anne comes back in the room and says, hey, Dr. Moore, I'm worried about this person's XYZ, what do you think? Let's get somebody from OT in there to see him about this specific issue. And so it really helps streamline and optimize care.
And I would say it helps us to look at the person as a whole person, and look at, from everybody's looking at them through their own lens, and then we can come together and figure out how to best care for this patient, so they're getting the best care.
Really, sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, really the best care is when your medical team is talking about you. And we're able to do that on a weekly basis.
So I'm glad you stated clinical trials. So what clinical trials is Duke offering at the moment?
Right now, we are only enrolling in Enroll HD, but we are hoping to roll out some additional studies in the near future. And until we do that, there's rules around what we can share that's going to be available. Right. But Enroll HD is a great way for anybody who is at risk or early in their HD journey to, number one, continue to get comprehensive care. And that allows us to collect a bunch of data. There's over 30,000 people worldwide enrolled in this study. It's observational, so it's not getting an experimental medication. But it's so that we, as the HD research community, can learn as much as we can about folks. And there are many publications out of that data set. I think also it helps us understand how best to design the clinical trials. So if you're part of that study, you're helping to make the future of clinical trials better.
So I do Enroll HD. I do mine through University of Iowa. And I've been doing a lot of the clinical trial side of things since 2007, 2008.
That's great.
Give or take. And what I love about Center of Excellence is, especially Duke, Mackenzie Luxmore, I've had a lot of time with her. You guys are some of the most communicative people that I've met, and you always give the best information, and you guys truly care about who you take care of and who, anyone who comes to the door. What is one message that you want to give to people who are kind of sitting on the edge of whether or not to, start their HD journey?
Well, first, I appreciate you saying that. It's very kind, and certainly something that we strive for. By being focused and concentrated in that space as a team, we're able to amplify each other in how we help care for folks. Man, there's a lot of things I would say to those of you out there considering coming to a center of excellence, considering testing. First of all, it has to be the right thing for you, but you can certainly come in and talk to us and say, is this the right thing? What are the things that I should be thinking about and planning? And at least for me, just to know that if you come to the clinic, it doesn't mean that you're ready to test. It doesn't mean that you're ready to start medication. We are a point of contact, of information, of care. And we always make it clear, like, if I do your physical exam, do you want me to tell you what I'm seeing? Like, that's your right to say, I don't want to know if you're seeing symptoms too. So we're here along the whole journey to give you the support that you need. So that's a good place to be thinking, like, we're a resource point, not necessarily that you have to wait until you feel like you've got everything figured out.
Yeah, so much of what we do as a Center of Excellence is provide education. And so we want people to have the information they need so they can make the best decision for themselves. And we don't have an opinion we don't know what's best only the person going through it can decide what's best for them, but they need all the information. So it's an educated decision about, what they're signing up to learn. And so having Allison and I tend to get we get a lot of initial calls of people who just, hey, I have HD in my family. I kind of didn't want to get tested, but now I'm sort of thinking about it and I just want to know what's involved. So there's like no commitment, just to get education, and we can tell them what's involved or answer questions or tell them what the process is. And so there's steps before even coming to clinic, but even like Dr. Moore said, when you come to clinic, there's no pressure or stress around. We just want you you come with the agenda. What do you want? What do you need? How can we help you in this process?
So, last question. We are a gaming group, so I do have to ask you a gaming question.
Oh,
boy.
If you could only play one game for the rest of your life, what would it be?
This is gonna date me, but Frogger.
Oh no, Frogger's amazing. I cannot blame you on that one at all.
Yeah. That was always my favorite, still is my favorite. I still refer to Frogger when I go to cross the street. I'm like, I feel like this is going to be a Frogger situation.
Oh gosh, unlike my husband, I'm not really a video game sort of person.
Board games are good. I play Magic the Gathering, which is a card game.
Yes. I'm just saying the thing that I enjoy most is Trouble, but that's because my nieces and I can make that popping sound and it drives my parents crazy. But maybe that says more about me than the game.
Causing trouble, that's always fun.
Yeah, exactly.
My mom and I, we always played Scrabble.
Oh. There you go.
Oh, she was an English teacher, so.
Oh!
It took me a while to actually win a game.
I'm sure, yeah.
I gotta tell you, Scrabble is really, really good for preserving cognition.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like, because you expand your mind with having to think about new words and making up words and finding all the words. And so whenever we do sort of some cognitive testing with folks, the people who usually rock it, those people, I'm like, do you play Scrabble? And they're like, yes, I do. And that's, so there's benefits, side benefits to playing Scrabble.
My mom and I played Scrabble all up until right before she passed. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, I saw a picture of her last game and she got mad at me because I made 3 8-letter words. And she's like, that's not fair.
That's impressive is what that is. That's great.
Well, thank you so much for being on here. Guys, we're going to be right back with Latorius Adams, and they're going to talk to us about UNC. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, everybody.
Alrighty, guys. We are back with Miss Latorius Adams and Dr. Tessa. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do the who's and what's and why's are here, and let them tell you everything they know about HD. Start when you started with school.
Yeah, so I'm Latorius Adams, case manager with UNC Chapel Hill. I work with Dr. Claudia Testa. She founded the clinic a few years back, her and Dr. Mary Emerson. And so I mainly do case management, helping patients navigate the system when they come into clinic, when they leave, helping them connect with resources, financially, helping them get on the disability path. A lot of our handoffs are from HD Reach. We connect with them a lot. Erica actually comes to clinic when we have clinic days to help speak with family members because
I've noticed a lot of times when people leave medical appointments, they can leave empty, right? Lost, down. But I want them to leave full of knowledge and information, and knowing that anything they need during their process, that they can always reach out to us, and we're there to help them.
Dr. Tessa?
So I first got acquainted with Huntington's disease in about 1991, 92. I joined a lab, got accepted into a lab as a starting PhD graduate student in neuroscience. It was Dr. Zan Young and Jack Penny running that lab, and they were two of the people who helped found the Venezuelan Research Project, which was the collaborative group of scientists and HD family members who found the gene, working with the big family centered in Maracaibo, Venezuela. It was just a truly special work environment, but both Anne and Jack were also movement disorders neurologists and really insisted on a commitment to centering science around patients and families, and that really drove a lot of their work, and it drove how they approached, training people and trying to keep people in the field. So even as a mouthy graduate student who was starting to yak about how maybe I wouldn't finish medical school and I would just stay, my happy place in my t-shirt and jeans and lab forever, they made me go to clinic with the fellows because they said, "Hey, we heard you're math enough. We don't train people who aren't going to see patients. You better come." And then my reward for surviving my PhD and successfully finishing and restarting medical school was to go with Jack to Venezuela with the research team. And this was a couple years before, 2 or 3 years before the gene got found finally by that group. And it's just, I've been connected with HD ever since. So this is my third build of Huntington's disease clinic and a Huntington's disease program. I started as a fellow at Emory, and then at Virginia Commonwealth, and now at UNC Chapel Hill. One of the biggest reasons that I moved was the community in North Carolina in the region. I have a boss who's amazing, who was really committed to making both a clinic and a research clinical trial program that could serve all of our families regionally. This is where the State Safety Net Hospital had a really deep understanding of that already, so I knew, the backing of the institution was going to be behind what I wanted to do. And then HD Reach was here. And so, already just like an on-the-ground partner, the community here was just so strong and so rich. And then I was just talking with HD Genetics. We get referrals from them, and I didn't realize that both PJ and the rest of his staff were based in Charlotte. Somehow I don't know where I thought they were. I don't know what I was thinking basically, but and then we have all these great. I've been in clinical trials for so long now, and now there are all these partners who are right here. Life Edit is here, who are right in Research Triangle Park zone. So I have a very long journey with HD as a professional, and just feel really, really honored to be embraced by the community and keep working with people.
I absolutely love that. Thank you so much for your time and dedication to the community itself. I mean, I could only imagine what it was like when you finally found the genome itself, like that. I wish I could have been there on that day to kind of know what that feeling was right in the moment, because
It's
crazy. I was born in '99, so I know not that long ago. But I've always known the time when the gene was here. It was never a mystery. But I can only imagine the families that there was no testing for it other than being able to see the symptoms. And I loved what you were saying earlier, LaTorri, about the wanting people to feel full when they left. What is one thing that you want HD patients and families affected by HD to keep in mind as they're going through their HD journey?
One thing I would want people to keep in mind is that this is definitely a community. I mean, you can reach out to HD Reach, HDYO. I've just never seen a community so tight knit that you can go to any of these organizations to get help. And I also want patients to know that they are important. I was really inspired by Tanita Allen's book last year at HD Reach conference. Erica told me about her because I myself in the clinic at first only saw Caucasians. And so I presumed that it did not affect African Americans until we start having clients. And a lot of them were diagnosed later on or when they came to our clinic because they knew nothing about it, or whatever provider they were seeing did not think that they had HD. So things like that inspire me to educate and advocate for individuals. And we're starting something with our Parkinson's group too at UNC, where we're doing like a brain health series, because if people are educated, then they'll know. If you go into communities, most people know dementia or Parkinson's. They've never heard of Huntington's disease. So if we don't put it out there and educate people on the different types of dementia or neurodegenerative diseases, how would they know? So that's one thing I like about it is like Dr. Testa gives me the range to go out in the community and talk to people and the range to help families. So, I mean, one big victory for me was it took a year to get a patient placed, but we did it. Like it was a lot of work because of the age, because like so many factors, but I just didn't give up. And I wasn't gonna give up. And when it happened, like it made it feel like it was my family, right? Because like I have a lot of empathy and compassion for our patients because some of them are my age or younger, and it could be me, it could be my family. So when I do and when I serve people, I do it from the heart.
So one of the conversations that we actually had on one of our older streams was talking about burnout and different things, which happens a lot on HD Journeys. All of the doctor visits, the medications, the clinical trials, things like that. What's something that you guys do yourselves or recommend to combat that burnout?
So I kind of think of this, that's a really personal question. It was already very challenging to work in academic medicine even before the pandemic, and then it just got so much worse. And so talk at work a lot about our own burnout, and then we see our patients, just the lift, of caregiving or trying to navigate these really complicated systems. I try to think about what is giving me energy. I try to identify, is there something that I'm feeling the energy back, even if I'm putting some energy into it, and really leaning into those things, especially when I'm feeling a little depleted. For our patients and families, I think I try to really train, like the students and the residents to think about how to partner with patients and families and how to empower them. So you're combating that burnout by saying, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm not judging your decisions, I'm not telling you that there's a way to do it, but I'm going to try to give you the information and tell you where the supports are, so that you're empowered to make the decisions that make sense to yourself and your family, instead of feeling like these decisions are being imposed on you.
So, one final question before we go. If you guys could only play one more game for the rest of your life, what game would you choose? And this isn't just video games, or this is any game at all.
For the rest of my life.
Just one game.
This is really hard because I'm really game obsessed. I have all these board games. I'm currently obsessed with Wingspan, but I don't know if that'll be like a fad.
I love Wingspan.
I got like the first copy. A friend of mine went to the gaming, conference and brought it back, right? And but also, you know, I grew up in a family that played a lot of card games. And so you give me like, I need at least 2 decks of cards because you can't make a pinochle deck out of a regular deck of cards. So if you give me at least 2 decks of cards, I can do like anything. So I might just be like, I need 2 decks of cards.
1 game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because with the deck of cards, you can play mini games. I would say life. Me and my daughter always play like board games, and we play life. So it's a long game, but it gives you like family time too, like the laugh and stuff. So I would say life.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for being on here with us today. We're going to be so excited to hear more from you guys later on. And hey, if you guys ever want to play some games with us, you can come and join.
All right. My God. Thank you so much.
I'll take you up on that.
Tame you.
All right.
Where's the camera?
Right.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
All right. Thank you guys for coming back with us at the moment. I'm going to scooch up just a hair. So I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves and do their who, what, where, when, and whys. Mike, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Mike Brooks. I thought I was here to play Fortnite, but I guess I'm introducing myself as part of the Care Assistance team with the Care Assistance Center and also the asset coordinator of the law offices of Jeff Marsace.
That's me. So yeah, I'm Jeff Marsace. I am the attorney at the law offices of Jeffrey G. Marsace, PLLC, very official sounding. We primarily work in estate planning and Medicaid planning, but the short of it is we try to help people prevent problems by planning ahead as opposed to raking in the bucks by cleaning up a legal mess later. We want to make sure people avoid those messes.
So we did make a slight joke at your expense earlier on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be fair warning, but it was how we don't like cleaning, but we'll let you take our messes.
And I'm David Cole. I'm also part of the care assessment team. I oversee working with Mike and Jeff, finding care, helping find the care, not delivering the care, but finding care options and helping pay for it through VA. Well, I'm also a VA accredited agent, and if there's any VA connection, I help with that, but also Medicare, Medicaid, those things you paid taxes for.
Now, I was told last night that you guys are on TikTok, right?
Well, I am actually primarily on YouTube, but we put some of the same shorts out on TikTok.
Yeah.
So,
what's funny is I follow you guys.
Okay, all right, yeah.
So, what is one thing that you would tell people to watch out for during their HD journey where they might need someone to, might need some law assistance?
The big thing that I see is there is an awful lot of misinformation that's out there. There's an awful lot of things that sound easy, and if you like an easy answer, people tend to go, oh, I'll just go ahead and do that. When the fact is, there could be some more complicated answers that could really save and actually protect you and your family.
I would say I'm more on the financial side and insurance side of the planning that we do. And one of the things is there's some misconceptions about if you've been diagnosed with Huntington's disease that your options for insurance coverage for helping care for or take care of costs are off the table. That's not accurate. There are plenty of carriers, insurance companies that will work with folks that have these diagnoses. Also, if you're kind of just on the early stages of your journey, I highly suggest being proactive on your planning prior to speaking to a medical professional or getting tested, so that way you have a little more options available to you as far as the planning approach.
So what I'm hearing is my 60 cents in my bank account is not enough right now.
That's correct. Yeah.
And if you have more than 60 cents, the expression we have in the office a lot is don't die broke, because unfortunately in this disease it never gets better, it only gets worse. And as time goes on, the need for care, which is expensive, goes up and up, especially when you look at a facility. So it's important that you understand what arrangements can be made to access those benefits that you earned, quite frankly, by the hundreds of thousands in taxes you paid, such as advanced and enhanced Medicare and Medicaid, which sometimes people turn their nose up at. But no, it's a viable option, and you don't have to die broke. You can preserve that money and still access these benefits. So through the planning that Jeff does and the coordination that Mike does with, so that's what we try to do, is to tell you what your options are.
So I love how you have your whole team here kind of giving their inputs at different angles. With each of your guys' different sides of things, what is one thing that you would put out there as kind of the step in the right direction for an HD family?
I have the biggest one I would say is don't not talk to a professional team.
Talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ask questions.
Reach out to the resources. Have the conversation.
Don't hide from this. It's coming. The freight train is coming. I'm serious.
Oh yeah.
It might be okay now, but as Jeff earlier, you were telling me about what's that, when you get to the point where you're confrontational or whatnot, you had another word.
Yeah, there's a reckless phase for a lot of people. That's a symptom of HD. They are legally competent, but it could be, here's my new best friend I just met at the bar last night, let me go buy him a car. And it's like, wait a minute, there are things that you can proactively put in place, so if you reach that phase, you're turning the control of the finances over to the people that you trust. So, but it's got to be done in the right way. But look, these are things you want to talk about. You're absolutely right. Talk about it.
So we are a gaming channel, so I'm going to ask a couple gaming questions. What was the very first game you played, or at least remember playing?
Pong.
Pong?
I'm 76.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Pong.
All right, I'm going to give you my favorite, which is the original Legend of Zelda on NES. I still have that old system and pull it out every now and then.
Yeah, I have fond memories of the Commodore in the living room on the old school 500-pound television.
The tube.
The tube TV. So Pitfall, Pong, Joust, those all ring a bell.
Now, what's the most recent game you played?
I'm on Steam, and it's Vega Conflict. I don't know if you know that. It's just a kind of decent strategy but building space game with a little bit of warfare thrown in there, and it just kind of relaxes me.
So I'd say my biggest hobby now with games is I am into pinball.
Oh.
Right. So I actually there's a really nice bar. It's called Super a Bowery Bar in Charlotte, and they have like a bunch of arcade retro games and new ones. So that's kind of my hobby now when I'm not working. And the most recent one I played was Stern's Dungeons and Dragons. That's the newest one, which was pretty fantastic if you like going through role playing with pinball. But console, I did have to over the holidays pick up Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, because that was a nice throwback to my youth.
What was the most recent video game?
Well, I had to
you played?
look it up. My daughter works out in Hollywood for a new startup.
Oh, wow.
It actually has money in it from Netflix. Spry Fox. I was looking whether it's Spy or Spry Fox. She actually manages the community. Somehow she oversees what people say and tries to grow the. It's either Spry or Spy Fox, but it's a new deal, and it's a peaceful game. It's meant to be for love and kindness, not competition. You build this community, and you're all kind to each other. You don't need lawyers to sue each other.
Yep.
It's just everyone's getting along.
See, I don't know. I assume you guys are familiar enough with modern gaming. I play Dark Souls, or in Souls-likes. There are video games that punish you for playing.
A little different
What
than
was
this
the one that they made? Eternal Ring or
Elden Ring?
Elden Ring, yeah.
Yes.
I dived into that a little bit. My brother encouraged me.
I got the platinum trophy on that in 3 months.
Whoa, nice.
That's an investment.
I dove into that game head first. I just started Lies of P.
But my very first video game, it was Tetris.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
On the original Game Boy. That was the very first one I played. And then after that was Super Mario World on Super Nintendo, which I still have at my house.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us today. Is there anything else that you want to say that I might not cover?
Well, we've got some great resources out there for both estate planning and Medicaid planning, and it's very simple. freetrustcourse.com has my book, Estate Planning Basics, and it goes through difference between a will and a trust and the basic documents. And we have freemedicaidcourse.com, which talks about some of the different rules about long-term care Medicaid, and it's, like it says, it's free. So if you're looking for any resources, those two are definitely out there, and just go ahead, they're free.
And your name on YouTube and TikTok?
I am the Plain English Attorney. The easiest thing for YouTube, it's YouTube/NC Lawyer. I got that one a long time ago.
Well, again, thank you guys so much for being here.
Fun.
And guys, we will be right back with Jess Marsluck from HDSA. All right, guys, we are now back, and we are with Jess. Jess is from HDSA. I've known Jess for a while now. What is it like?
Oh gosh, when was your first convention? Maybe
Baltimore.
So that's the one I missed.
I believe
out of 17 years. I think that was the only one I missed, actually. But I'm sure I met you shortly after.
Oh yeah, well, that would have been in Colorado for the NYA.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Jess, what is the HDSA?
HDSA is a national organization. It's a patient advocacy organization that serves individuals and families with Huntington's disease.
So, and who started the HDSA? Because I love that fact. It's one of my favorite ones.
So, it was started by Woody Guthrie, legendary folk singer, songwriter. Woody Guthrie's wife, Marjorie Guthrie. So she started the organization. She had been, supporting Woody through his journey with HD and wanting to connect with other families. So the story is she sat around her kitchen table and put an ad in the New York Times looking for other HD families, and please call me. So literally starting from her kitchen table, asking people to give her a call, to reach out so she could make connections. So the organization stemmed from that, and literally in Rolodexes was getting to know where people were from around the country, and that's where the organization began.
Absolutely. I have my music degree, so I'm like, oh, Woody Guthrie, yeah. But
it's a fun fact.
So we're obviously here today for HD Reach and we're Game Over Stream.
Yes.
But HD Reach, HDSA, we coincide in a lot of stuff that we do. So what is the big thing that HDSA is able to do just for HD patients on their HD journey, things like that, whether it be contacts or anything of the sort?
Yeah, so HDSA is able to, what we do is we support our centers of excellence. So we support care teams around the country that have an interest and a passion for caring for people with Huntington's disease. And so we develop a required multidisciplinary team so that a person can come to one appointment and have a team of experts supporting them and getting to know them and their family, and their supporting their life and their situation. So our Centers of Excellence program is one of our largest programs that we have. We've expanded it to, I think it's 57 Centers of Excellence and 11 partner sites around the U.S. So over, having care that you can access is really important. And so most states have them, not all of them, but we work hard to support our Centers of Excellence program. We also have 120 social workers nationwide that have expertise in Huntington's disease. And so that's a program that I oversee. We have disability services. So we have Allison Bartlett, our on-staff attorney that helps people navigate disability programs, Social Security disability. We have youth and young adult programming. We have our educational programs. So similar to today, we have educational events that happen throughout the country. We also have a vast array of support groups. So online support groups post-COVID have exploded. We have over 50 a month that people can join, whether it's location specific or topic specific. Most of them are facilitated by our licensed social workers. What else am I missing? We have research programs, so we support young researchers that are interested in learning and researching HD. I probably missed something, but that
was amazing. Yeah, I could never rattle things off like that. I'd have too many ums, oohs, and
There's a lot of programs, so I'm trying to make sure we touch base on all of them. And our youth and young adult programs. I don't know if I mentioned that, but NYA. I know that's how I know you.
Oh yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna take Mary answer out, so I'm coming for it.
Are you?
But what is one thing that you would advise someone to do when starting their HD journey?
In talking, I've worked with a lot of families over the years, and one of the, it seems like for a lot of people I've known and gotten to know over the years, it's sometimes hard to make that first step into whether it's going to a Team Hope Walk, an educational event like today, coming to a support group. It's kind of like an unknown, like they're not really sure what to expect. But I've found that in learning from others that after that first step, they get to know the people that they meet at these events, and they feel that warmth and that amazing HD community vibe that the HD community provides, and they feel really at home being around people that get it and understand. And so if and when ready, taking that first step, whether it's at a walk or even a clinic visit or an HD event, like just taking that first step. And sometimes it helps to bring a friend or a family member with you just to have a buddy. I really encourage just taking that first step and then just seeing what it's all about, because there's an amazing community out there waiting, and HD is not something you want to do alone.
See, one of the things I've always loved about the HD community itself is, the camaraderie that comes with it. I grew up in the Iowa City Center of Excellence.
Okay.
So I was there, 2007 until February. I still have more and more visits to go through, and I've always done everything with my mom and all that stuff. And I remember, the first convention and everything, and that's where my first convention in Baltimore is actually where we started using the term Ohana. And that was 2016, 2017, just average. So for almost a decade, the NYA uses the term Ohana, and I think it's the perfect thing that encompasses the HD, group as a whole. I almost call us a society at this point because we stand so strongly together. And in part, it's because of people like you who dedicate their lives to, being a part of this group. Now, we are a game group. So we're going to have to ask some game questions.
Go for it, I'll try.
So what was the very first game that you played?
Ooh. Game in school was like Number Munchers and Oregon Trail. Are you talking video games?
I still have Oregon.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have that on my phone.
Am I too old? Do you really?
Oh yeah, no, I played that.
People still die of dysentery?
Yes.
I still remember that.
Yeah, I figured out the way to do it is just stock up on food and ox.
Okay,
and then
good
just
to know.
Run.
No, but I had like a little racing game that was like a little handheld. And then I had a Game Boy. So like Super Mario Brothers was one of my favorite games.
Ooh. Do you still do video games today, or do you mostly, let that to others?
I left that to the two teenagers that I'm raising right now. They are very into video games.
So you're not going to sit down and,
I do sometimes. We have a Wii, so I enjoy some Wii games. Those are really active and like interactive. We recently got a Nintendo Switch, so I'm learning some of the games, and there is Super Nintendo on there. So I am getting a little bit, but
the Switch 2 is going to have the GameCube games on there.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So that means we can play Super Smash Bros.
Okay.
So if we invited you back on here to play some video games with us, you'd hop on?
I would try, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm down for trying, yes.
There's a really fun game called Fall Guys I think you'd be great at.
Okay.
and it's just wacky races to the end.
I'm down. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
So, what is one thing that you want to make sure that HD families know about HDSA? What is the one big important thing about HDSA as a whole?
That everybody that I've met, staff, volunteer, advocate within the HD community at HDSA and beyond is really there because they care and because they want to advocate, educate, and raise awareness about HD. And so it's just, I love everyone I've met in this community, to be honest. So it's just a great group of people to be around, whether it's, in any space that we come to. I get to go to a lot of events like this, and every person that I get to know is incredible. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for
It's
being
wonderful.
you.
Oh.
I'm so glad that we get to connect today and this weekend.
I've been looking forward to this for months and months and months.
This is so fun.
Oh my gosh, it's been absolutely amazing. So we've been live streaming since 10 a.m. this morning. We had our stream last night.
Wow.
We did a birthday stream for me, and
It's your birthday?
Yeah, my birthday was on April 3rd.
Happy birthday!
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh!
And Anthony, president of the board for HD Reach.
Yep.
Yeah, he played Magic the Gathering with us last night.
Aww.
He ended up winning.
That's awesome. Okay, next time you have a game you want to invite me to, let me know. That sounds like fun.
We got you. So now, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will be back at 2:30 with H, and he is going to be talking to...
That's all we need. All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. I'm here with Tanita Allen, the author of We Exist. Also, the first session presentation today. What was the name of that session again? HD Has Color?
Yes, HD Has Color.
HD Has Color, which was a fantastic presentation. If you didn't catch that this morning, please go back and check that out. But we're here just to chat for a minute. We've got about 10 minutes just to catch up, but we're both in the HD Reach book club. We are reading together, having conversations together, but I have not had the chance to read We Exist. Do you mind giving me a brief synopsis of that book?
Well, it's well, thank you for having me here. First, I want to tell you that this book is about my journey with Huntington's disease, the fact that I'm the first person in my family to be diagnosed with Huntington's disease, and my journey as a Black woman with Huntington's disease. So it talks about the legal battles that I had and the medical roller coaster that I went through.
Why is it important for the audience, so they can hear this? Why is it important that we include the fact that you are Black as part of your story? Why is that important?
That's important because there's a myth that a lot of health providers have that Black people don't get Huntington's disease, or that it's not possible for people of color to have Huntington's disease. And I just want to say that that is so not true.
Thank you.
And that I am proof, and that just like my book, We Exist.
Since we're talking about We Exist a little bit, where can people find We Exist? Where can people read this?
Well, We Exist is found on Amazon and all the major booksellers online. So any bookseller online, you can find my book. And but the fastest that I found is through Amazon. And yeah.
Okay. How many HD events have you been to?
Oh my gosh, I've been to a lot of HD events.
Okay, so countless.
Countless.
Okay. How has the theme of this event, how has that made you feel, that the storytelling aspect? Do you think it has a significant weight to it that maybe other events have not had, or is it just different in a positive way?
It's really different in a unique. Every HD event that I go to is different, and I get something out of every event that I go to. So there's always something wonderful about every different organization that throws an event. This event about storytelling was amazing. I mean, I had a good time connecting with the HD Reach team. It was fun being here in North Carolina. I mean, I'm having a good time.
Good. What other sessions were you in on today? Were you on a panel today?
I was in on a Living with Intention.
Okay.
With Miriam.
Okay. So that has already happened.
Yes.
What was the key takeaway on that panel for you?
The key takeaway was living your life with intention and living your life with meaning, and remembering to take care of yourself, remembering to really have self-care as a priority, and not feel guilty about it. You know, putting yourself first.
I heard you say earlier that self-care is not selfish, and I'm telling you, I'm stealing that. That is sticking with me. I felt like that really resonated with me. And self-care is can be a foreign concept, and for people who are motivated and goal-oriented, I feel like a lot of times we lose that self-care aspect because we're so focused on achieving things. How, as a person that is very obviously motivated, how do you maintain that self-care aspect?
Well, I basically make it my priority. I make my life, my health, my priority. It's not up for debate. You know, you have to put your health first, no matter whether you're HD positive or not. I mean, health is everything. Without your health, you have nothing, you know? And I mean, you could have all the money in the world, but if you are in poor health, what good is that?
If you don't mind sharing, do you have a routine? Do you have a general breakdown of what your day-to-day looks like to help include self-care? Self-care is a generalized, broad topic. What is self-care for you?
Self-care for me is, thank you for the question. That's actually a really good question. Self-care for me is I have a skincare routine. I meditate. I exercise. I do things with intention. I will do things like connect with nature, go outside, look at the birds, go to the lake, in my case, Lake Erie in Cleveland. And, just do things like that, be by the water. I have a very specific sleep schedule. So it's very important that I keep my sleep I have to fall asleep at a certain time. I have to sleep so many hours. I give myself permission to give myself naps if I need a nap. I practice self-compassion. So it's really, try to not to be too hard on yourself. It's important to be compassionate with yourself and give yourself grace, because no one's perfect. And so I just try to live my life in that way. No 2 days are gonna always be alike. Some days are gonna be different. So, and that's okay. And just be okay with that.
Okay. So for people who are new to the self-care journey, I felt like you were getting at sort of being in touch with yourself and knowing yourself and listening to your body. Were you good at that right off the start? Were you like, I know exactly what I need right now, right here? Or did that take some time to develop a sense of what was needed in any given moment?
It took some time. Lots of trial and error before I got my rhythm of how I do things. It's a work in progress. It's never perfectly done, and that's how you have to kind of look at it. It's never perfectly done. You just have to meet yourself where you are, and just take small steps and celebrate the small wins. That's important. Celebrate the small wins.
I like that. Tina, we're just about to wrap up. So before we go, what's next for you? Do you know what's next for you?
Yes.
Okay.
I plan to. I'm studying health and wellness, a master's in health and wellness,
Nice.
and yes, and I'm actually going to be writing about how I live with intention. So
Fantastic.
we exist was about my backstory, but this is about how I'm living right now, how I took all of what I learned and how I'm applying it to living my best life now.
Okay. And is that going to include aspects of HD or?
Yes.
Okay.
Living with, because HD is, this is a chronic condition, and but I want it to be applicable to anyone living with a chronic condition. It could be
Perfect.
You could be with. It doesn't have to be HD. It could be anything.
Even better. So that way somebody who picks it up off the shelf, who's looking for that kind of resource for themselves, who may not be impacted in some way by Huntington's disease, is all of a sudden brought into the community.
Right.
I love that. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Do you mind if I give you a hug?
No,
Okay.
no problem.
Thank you so much for coming in today. Really appreciate you being here and all of your strong, inspiring words.
Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all. Up next, I have Jenna Hellman. Oh my!
I have to.
Gosh.
I have to. How
Jenna.
does this look? Yes, I stole this from Drake, not the artist, but the Drake the.
Oh. I didn't even think about that. She so apparently Jenna in all of her travels has met Drake. No, I'm playing. Interesting.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Good.
Thanks for having me, bud.
Yeah. Where'd you just get back from? What were you doing?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we were in Prague. You were there, remember?
Oh, it is like a blur. What, like 3 weeks ago now?
Was it? Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was my first HD event.
That's right, because you hadn't come to an HD Reach one yet.
Nope, that was my first HD event.
What
that was
a
my
big
first
swim in that ocean.
HDYO event. And just like hats off a million times and a round of applause for Jenna for making that happen. It was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. So I guess for those who don't know, HDYO hosted our second in-person international congress. We were in Prague. Previously, we did it in Glasgow in 2023. We've done 2 virtually. The original one was supposed to be in 2020, but the world exploded, so we couldn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for people who are interested in learning about HDYO, where can they go?
Yeah, really simple. HDYO.org. We started formally in 2012 as an organization. But before that, Matt Ellison out of the UK was traveling around sharing his story because he realized that not only did he not have a lot of support as a young person whose dad was all of a sudden diagnosed with HD, as he was sharing his story, he found that there were several other people and more people that he met who also had similar experiences. And then at a World Congress in Calgary, he met someone who you might know of, BJ View. Yep. And they ended up coming together and saying, like, this is my story, we're hearing that there's a lack of support, let's come together to create something. And like 2 20-something-year-old young men did, they're like, I don't know, let's start a foundation, that sounds easy. And so I think at first they talked about like starting a TV station, like something, these big ideas, and then coming to something more concrete. And so they started with the website. So going to HDYO.org is really important because it was the first conversational approach to learning and understanding HD for different age groups internationally, because that's really important.
Yeah, that international piece.
It's so big. I mean, every website's international, right? That's why they call it the World Wide Web. Right. But
you can be intentional about that, though.
100%. Yeah. And there's a widget on there where people can translate the whole website automatically. There's text to voice options, so if people have accessibility challenges or maybe can't read, they have that option to listen to some of that as well in their native language. But the reality is that we're there to support, educate, and empower young people 35 and under and family members impacted by HD. Because we know the experience about learning about HD at age 5, for example, is very different than 15, than 25, than 35. So we provide that individual guidance to help get them in the door and get them the right resources.
Nice. So when I was in Prague at the International Congress with HDYO, this word ambassador was thrown around over and over and over, and people, and I got to know some people, and they were like, "H, like you would do a great job at this."
You haven't
like,
submitted your application.
They like rung up the lasso, threw it at me, and tried to pull me in. I was like, I don't know quite yet. So, what is that, and how could people find out more?
So the ambassador program is something we created in 2021. And what it is it's a group of young people who at the base of it want to support each other.
Okay.
I think sometimes people get really nervous by signing up for leadership roles or thinking that if they get involved, they have to do fundraising and all of these other things. This is a program that allows you to design it for how you want it to be. So we have a very active WhatsApp chat group that people can post things about what they're experiencing. We post opportunities, things like that in it. We have people who join who are part of the WhatsApp chat who never say anything, but they're a part of a group.
That's right.
And so they're
still seeing this.
They're still seeing it. They're getting the information, but they're a part of something. And what we know and what we see is that in a rare disease, in HD, you sometimes feel like the one. And there's such a power of being the one of many. So this allows you to have that experience. Then we'll submit polls for feedback on certain things. There isn't a program that we initiate that the ambassadors don't have feedback, that we don't ask for feedback on. So they're really, even people who aren't open about their journey with HD can provide feedback to help guide the programs. Then you have people who ask questions and get advice from other people. We have different chat groups like tested positive, negative, at risk, people who want to be involved in program pieces of it. And then you have some people who are out there, they're sharing their stories, they are participating in our Breaking Down Barriers, our HDU community stories, our May takeovers. And then they might switch. They might, life is happening for your age group at a very fast pace on top of HD.
Yeah.
So we have this ability to kind of ebb and flow with what's comfortable for you. So there's no rules or regulations. We do learning opportunities and leadership training. We record that so people can attend. But it's also, especially for those countries, I mean, even in the US, there's so many stigmas. I mean, you just talked with Tanita and what she went through. There's so many stigmas and barriers that everybody faces. Then you add in the international part of it. And you got to hear some stories being in Prague one-on-one. But to have a safe place when maybe their family doesn't allow them to talk about HD, or they will be discriminated against if they talk about HD, just to be a part of something is so important. So now we have over, I think, 115 in 30 different countries plus.
Wow.
And it's cool because then when you're traveling, if you're traveling internationally, you can be like, hey, who's in this country? And go and visit someone.
Yeah.
Or if you need something in the middle of the night, it's the middle of the day somewhere else.
That's
so then
exactly
someone else
right.
will answer for
That's
you.
exactly right. I like that. If there was one thing you could share about the Prague event that stuck out from other events, what would that be?
This is the only event for young people to this caliber. And I think that that's important. And
I think we need to say that one more time.
Yeah.
This is the only large-scale event for young people to all come together in a common space.
Yep. And it's really powerful. And I think so we switched it up a little bit this year, and I think it worked out really well, where we did a lot of the mental health sessions at the beginning. So we kind of, not that we got them out of the way, but we acknowledged it so people could know maybe what some potential triggers were, some coping mechanisms.
I like that.
The fact that in the grief and loss session, the first day, with 360 pairs of eyes on people, they were standing up and sharing their stories. That's just phenomenal. In this huge room filled with people. And we kept everybody together in those big rooms for those conversations, because last time we separated them, and we learned that even just separating from the group was a little bit hard to process and to trigger. It was a little bit triggering, so we wanted to keep everybody together. And people were sharing. People were asking good questions. I heard that from all of our scientific partners.
That's great.
it instills everything that I already know in the community. And it's great because it instills it in you, it instills it in our partners, that young people have an important role to play. We have an even bigger role to play in their lives. And we need to continue to invest in this community. And that was just the epitome was Prague.
All right. Where can I go to the next one? Like, what's the next place? What's the next group that's coming together?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, fair enough.
So what we were doing, every other year we've been hosting camps or Congress. So the next one would be next year for camp, and we're in the process of planning that right now.
Okay.
Don't know about Congress in 2027. We are submitting different proposals to different countries. It won't really be in the U.S.
I think that's fair, though. I mean, I think that, like, not to say that we have everything that we need by any means, but I do feel fortunate that we do exist within a society that's a little more open to the concept of talking about HD.
That there are a lot of events. Logistically, Europe tends to be more centrally located, where people have you either have to travel similar distances, or you're within that kind of scope. If we were in North America or South America, everybody would have to travel really far, and it would be longer journeys for people. That's one. Two, we need to have visa-friendly abilities to be able to get the international community together, of which we don't have. Political anything aside, even in the best of circumstances, it's difficult. So those are really, like, logistically,
that makes sense.
It does get a little bit challenging. So we have some associations who are interested in hosting us, so we're kind of working with them on that. One thing I want to mention, though, because Jessica from HDSA forgot to share this, we have a great mentorship program that is in collaboration with the National Youth Alliance at HDSA.
Okay.
So this is similar to Big Brothers Big Sisters, except you get paired with a mentor who's been trained, who's another young person, and you get trained, or you get paired as a mentee with someone with like circumstances or similar interests. So with Big Brothers Big Sisters, it's based off of age. This is based off of commonalities.
Okay.
So someone who's a mentee may say, hey, I'm in the process of beginning IVF. I would like to have a mentor specifically on that. So you have some that are termed out for a certain amount of time, and then they've gotten what they need and they go on. They have some who want to have long-term support. We have some people who identify in the LGBTQA+ community who want to talk with someone else who understands that community and HD, be paired together.
Definitely.
We have mentees who then become mentors. And so then they go on, and they may still have their mentorship relationship with their mentor, but then they might have a mentee for themselves. So it's a really great way, especially if you're new to the community or haven't gotten involved, to have that one-to-one peer-to-peer support.
Sure. I mean, how do I, if I wanted to become a mentor, like, what does that look like?
You go through a small training.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interview process. You have an application, you go through a small training. And then there's periodic trainings throughout the time. But those trainings are really important because it's things like safeguarding. We want you to feel safe and that you have the support and resources, because this can be hard. These conversations might not be easy. Tips like how to set boundaries, what's the latest in research, what are resources available. You're paired with an NYA social worker as well, so you have that added level of professional support for that relationship. So it does take about depending on when you apply, a several-month process to do that. Okay. But it's really rewarding for everybody involved, and it's very helpful for the mentees.
Sounds great. This is fresh.
Do it. Sign on. We've had it for about 3 years.
Wow.
We need mentors. We need mentors.
Yes, please.
Yes.
If you're just tuning in, we're wrapping up a conversation with Jenna Heilman.
Heilman.
Ooh, you gotta get that Y in there. Heilman. Wrapping up a conversation with Jenna Heilman. And super appreciative of everyone that's watching today. This will be available to rewatch at any point in time. She also got to meet Drake and snagged his sunglasses, if you missed that.
Don't be jealous. They're a little small for me.
But thank you so much.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I have a hug?
Of course not. Love you, my friend.
And then I'm going to take just a quick second to peek outside and see if we've got our next guest. So give me just 1 second. Oh, hello. And if you do not have to stick around. If you want to pop out, you're more than welcome.
I'm gonna listen to Christy.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Hey, everybody. Hello.
You can love me later.
I love you.
Okay, both of you. Hey,
Hello.
how's it going?
I feel like we just got done talking.
Like for an hour.
Hello, everyone. We're live right now. We're on camera, up on the screen here. The audio is being picked up.
Okay.
So.
I've never done this before.
Really?
Never.
What?
Why are you surprised?
I'm surprised. I feel like you've got some of this experience under your belt now.
I'm getting more and more experience under my belt.
Well, I am so happy to be the first person that you've had this type of experience with.
Likewise.
Please, can you direct me on how to say your last name? Darian. Okay. Everyone, this is Christy Darian, author of Livable Lives.
I brought one.
Oh, fantastic. Please share that. Yes. It's an awesome book. And I just want to start out by saying that I got the opportunity to read Livable Lives through the HD Reach book club. It was extremely impactful, and it is a book that I now go to
Really?
share with people and be like, if you want to have what I consider a proper glimpse into this, to this lifestyle, to this experience, this is what you need to read first.
Thank you.
It is. It's fantastic. With that, we'll just jump into my first question.
Okay.
Do you believe in aliens?
Do you know where I'm going in 2 weeks?
No.
I'm going to Roswell in 2 weeks.
What? That is so cool.
It sounds like a random
I didn't know
question.
that. We did not talk about this beforehand.
No. I have a nephew who's really into aliens, and it turns out my younger son is as well. So we're making a trip to Roswell. We're going to hike out to the crash site, visit UFO museum.
That is so cool. Have you done some reading on Roswell, or have you done any?
I have 2 weeks to learn.
I don't want to plug anybody else on this, but I'll get up with you about an awesome podcast to listen to.
I want to know.
Okay.
Good
what?
question.
Yeah. You know, loosen it up, loosey goosey.
Sure.
What is? Well, first of all, how many HD events or HD Reach events have you been to?
This is my first HD Reach event.
Okay. How has this been beneficial for you today? Has this looked different from other events? And one last sidebar question: what was being on a panel like for you? So
that's a lot of questions.
Yes. We'll break it down.
So I've now gone to HDSA, HDYO, Help for HD, and HD Reach events.
Wow. Okay.
And I think they all each have their own individual feel.
Okay.
This is a very kind of local, more community feel. It's
I like that.
Yeah. It is my first time, and we're not through the full day yet, but it does have a really nice, comfortable feeling and very accessible. Yeah. Very relaxed. There was a storytelling thing at the park last night. That was a nice way to start out.
That was great. We talked about that a little bit earlier on the stream, where we talked about the storytelling aspect. We talked about the authors being there, and I told the audience, I was like, it feels like you got to spend a really special, privatized moment with these very impactful people within our community. And it was very nice.
It was very comfortable, and the park setting was really nice.
Yeah.
So no, I very much like the feel of this one.
Well, good. I'm glad.
And then it was my very first time to be on a panel, and yours too, right?
Yes. For what we're referencing, we were on. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
Journey Through the Negative.
It's not always positive.
Yeah.
Journey Through the Negative, it's not always positive. We were on a panel together with Mary Ann, who was interrogating. I'm just kidding. She was our host, asking
she asked
questions.
Very good questions.
She did, didn't she?
Questions.
I felt like she led our conversation very well.
Yeah.
How was that?
I showed up with notes.
Yeah. Notes is a light way to put it, y'all. I mean, I looked at that piece of paper and I was like, did I miss the assignment? Like, where?
You got the assignment.
I got the assignment.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
what was that like for you as a first panel? Do you see yourself doing it again?
I would do it again. I wrote a book for a reason, because I'm very comfortable in in my individual space and doing my individual thing. Very quiet.
Sure.
So sure. So public speaking is not where I look for my opportunities, but it was good. I'm so glad I did it. I would do it again. It makes me very anxious.
Oh, me too. Look, I'm with y'all fairly routinely, but the public speaking aspect is something that I continue to work on.
Yeah, but it was easier than I expected.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's a friendly crowd.
It is. Honestly, I feel like if I was speaking about something else, I would be more anxious. I'm already anxious a little bit,
Okay.
I'm getting in there and talking in front of people, but I feel like Marianne said it really well, right? We're the professionals. Nobody can take away what you've gone through.
Right.
That is your story, your journey.
Right.
Do you have any interest in talking about something else, or do you feel like this is where I want to what I want to hammer in the negative aspect, testing and
Right now or in general?
In general.
I feel like there's a lot of education that can happen around the entire disease and the many different experiences. So I'm interested in understanding all of it and helping other people understand as much as they can. I think, testing negative, it always feels like lesser of a story.
It does have that feeling to it, doesn't it?
And so, I don't know that I always feel like it has as much value. I know that's not true.
Yeah, of course.
I know, there are many of us out there who have this experience, and the more we can share and help understand that it is a unique experience,
One thing that you brought up when we were in the session was, wishing you had heard from other people, more people about their story with testing.
Yeah.
Why are hearing those stories valuable? Not only for you, but what you think they would be valuable for other people.
I feel like, the more and more I talk to people, the more and more stories I hear, the more variety of experiences I hear. And so it might be easy to go into the testing experience or getting your result and feeling like you know how you're going to feel, feeling like you're going to understand what that process will be like and what that after effect will be like. But I think as you hear about more experiences, you understand that there's a wide variety. It's all across the board, in preparation and how you respond after. So I think just learning more might help you see that there might be, it may not turn out exactly how you think it's going to.
Sure. Do you, and so this is your first book, right?
No.
Okay. What
do you
else
want to know the other one?
I do.
So I'm co-author on a book from the year 2000.
Oh?
It's called Local Government Guide to the Internet, Online Resources for Communities.
I love it. I love that.
It's old school.
I like
how
that.
to find data online.
Okay.
So we don't need to talk about that one.
Okay.
No.
But I would love if somebody could find that.
It's probably like 50 cents on Amazon.
So. My boss probably has it in his office.
Cool. Let me know.
I'll go dig. But with that being said, I know we've had some sidebar conversations, and you've even shared along the way that you this is still just a pinky toe in the water of your writing journey, and you have interest in potentially pursuing another book or books, and you're open to the idea of doing more, from what I can tell. Do you think that maybe there's a coupling in this interest in the testing negative and testing process and
maybe.
Your livable lives writing style, where it's you've intermingled your story into other people's stories, and you've taken those accounts and then shared aspects that are similar to what you've gone through. This was just something that just popped in my head, like in this moment. This was not prepared. Given our conversation, personally, I think that's very valuable, and your writing style, I think, fits that really well.
Thank you. I really would love to do another book, and I am trying to figure out what it might look like, and it does need to speak to me, and maybe it is worth giving it that topic the time and consideration that it deserves. So.
Hey, entertain it.
Okay, maybe I'll be interviewing you.
Oh gosh, I sure hope not. That'd be a boring interview.
None of them are boring.
With me though, it's like a snooze fest. It's like, this guy.
Why would that be? I don't believe you.
No, I'll keep it interesting.
And you'll bring your aliens.
I don't share my secrets.
Okay.
I do share my secrets, actually. That's why I'm here.
Okay.
Let's see.
What's our timing?
3:05. We're running over time a little bit. I've got another person coming in at 3:15.
Do you get a little break?
I could go for a little break. Let's see if chat's got anything going on. Looks like everybody's quiet. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Ooh. No. What have you? Are you going to any other sessions today?
I think there's just one more. There's the.
Perfect.
Right.
Probably. Yeah. I need to pull up my schedule here.
Yeah, Bluebee the alien.
No, what time is that?
Well, not till 3:45.
3:45. Perfect. I've got one more interview lined up at 3:15. So I'm gonna take a quick break, y'all. Quick 5-minute break, and I'll be right back with you. We're live audio. Hello, we're back after a quick break. Let me get this music off of here. Perfect. I've got Josh Shope with me here today. And Josh, we've not met before.
No.
I'm H.
Nice to meet you, Josh.
I was on a panel today talking about, journey through the negative. It's not always positive.
Yeah.
My family's impacted by HD. My dad passed away last year. My sister tested gene positive last year.
Okay.
And then HD Reach, I stream with Game Over HD.
Cool.
I do game lead sessions, so that's sort of how I'm engaged in this community. And just a little bit of background about me. I know that was like a
cool.
Boom. Here's me.
No, that's great.
But what do you do, and why are you here today?
Yeah. So this is my first ever Twitch stream. I'm super excited about this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
This makes me feel
welcome.
feel
I'm glad that I could bring you that experience.
This is great. Yeah. So I am the chapter president for the North Carolina chapter of HDSA.
Okay.
So that's the Huntington Disease Society of America.
Perfect.
HDSA.org is our website. And
check that out.
Yeah, check that out, please. We're kind of the national organization for Huntington's awareness and Huntington's research and advocacy and things like that. So most states have a chapter, some have like an affiliate group. But if you go to that website, hdsa.org, you can find events and things like that in your own state. So whatever state you're in, we'll have something. We also like advocate to the government and things like that to try to increase funding and increase awareness for Huntington's and things like that. So that's why I'm here today. Also, my family is affected. My mom has it. She is kind of in the middle stages. My sister and I both tested positive, and we have a couple cousins who have tested, some have not. It's, sort of when you have a big family, some people do it, some people don't.
That's right.
So
that's right. Okay, well, fantastic. Now that knowing that you're the chapter president
That's right.
for HDSA, how did you get there? And you can make that as long or as short as you'd like. But what was that journey like for you?
Yeah. So when I tested positive, we lived in Seattle, Washington. We moved back here because my parents live just south of here in Rock Hill, so near Charlotte.
Okay, yeah.
And we live in Charlotte now. So I was just looking for a way to get involved, and I was kind of talking to the previous chapter president. She mentioned that they needed some people on the board, on the chapter board, and so I was like, well, maybe I'll join as a volunteer, but I don't know about having a position yet. And she said, well, I think you could be a vice president. We need a vice president. I'll just kind of show you the ropes. And so I said, okay, fine. I don't know what I'll be doing, but sure, I'll be vice president. Yeah. And then about 2 months later, she's like, hey, I have to tell you, I got a job with a research company. I can't be both, so would you like to be the chapter president?
Wow.
We had like one meeting in that time, so I said,
and how long ago was that?
That was about a year ago, yeah.
Wow, okay, so this is all relatively new?
It's all still very new, yeah.
Okay.
I went to the convention last summer, and that was my first convention.
Okay.
I'll be there again this summer, but yeah, it's all fairly new. I mean, my family... My mom and my sister and I got diagnosed about 6 years ago, so that part isn't super new. We're kind of into it, but yeah, being part of the chapter is for sure a new thing. I'm still meeting people, still learning how to kind of increase the chapter's presence here in North Carolina.
Okay, so HDSA, if you're in the HD community, you have heard of HDSA. Yeah. But let's bring it down a notch into the North Carolina chapter.
Yeah.
What does engagement look like for the North Carolina chapter for HDSA? What do you want it to look like? And how do people get involved and find out where to get involved?
That's a great question. So what it looks like now is the national organization is the one that funds the Centers of Excellence. So we have one at Duke. So we're connected with Duke and also the people at Wake Forest because they have a study there as well. But our Center of Excellence is at Duke. So most of the HDSA kind of involvement is around here in the Raleigh area.
Okay.
Me living in Charlotte, knowing there's other people in Charlotte who have HD, there's probably some even that I don't know. What I'd like to see is that we increase involvement in other places like Charlotte, Asheville. I was talking to somebody earlier who's in Wilmington who wants to try to do something. So we always do a fundraiser every year, a big walk here in the Raleigh area. It was here in Cary last year, and it'll be again. But I'd like to have fundraisers also in Charlotte. We may do another walk in Asheville, and then maybe in Wilmington, because North Carolina is so big. Like
it is so big. I mean, from east to west.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long state.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you're in Wilmington or Asheville or Charlotte, like driving to Raleigh is tough to go to an event. It's hard to make it work. So, I'd like to kind of cover the bigger pockets of the state with things like fundraisers and things like meetups and that kind of stuff, and even partner with HD Reach, honestly, because you guys already have a lot of that meetup stuff set up.
True. I go to the Charlotte meetup actually.
Oh, cool. Great.
I live in Statesville.
Oh, nice.
So that's there's another meetup in Winston-Salem that my mom goes to, which would be a little closer, but I know Erica pretty well, obviously through all this.
Right.
So she was like, come to the meetups, and I was like, okay. So I usually go to Charlotte for the meetups.
Good. The Charlotte ones are always on a night that my kids have gymnastics, so I can't. And then it never works out. It's always on a Wednesday. But but yeah, that's kind of what
these are things that we need to have conversations about. What would be more ideal?
Sure.
What would end up leading to a bigger turnout?
Yeah.
And probably getting off of Wednesday nights, maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You got lots of things happen on Wednesday nights.
Right.
Church groups.
That's true.
Through the week, if people have kids, that's homework. That's sports.
Right.
That's you name it. There's stuff going on.
Yeah, maybe a weekend might be more convenient for people, but
sure.
Yeah, that's kind of my big thing that I'd like to see for the state is like for HDSA is how do we kind of serve more people and partner with you guys in kind of a more cohesive way.
That makes a lot of sense. Is there anything that you would like to share about your experience here today that you think is valuable for everyone to hear?
I think more than anything specific today, I think just coming to these things, like honestly, going to the convention last summer, like I'd really never gone to meetups and things like that. So it's not that I was kind of feeling alone in HD, but I mean, I knew other people had it, but I wasn't like, other than my mom, I wasn't around it very much. And so going to the convention was just unbelievably inspiring, and like seeing people at different stages with the disease and seeing family members who maybe don't have it but they're super involved because they know somebody who does, that was just really incredibly inspiring. And then coming to something like this too, like seeing people who live in this area in North Carolina and they're involved in Huntington's, and like it's not just, I mean, even though Huntington's is a rare thing, it's not just me living in Charlotte.
That's
who
right.
has it, right? So knowing that other people have it and they're able to navigate their life, and you can kind of see like, you know, maybe my life will be like this down the road, and they're navigating it this way, and I can learn from them. That's been the biggest thing for me, honestly, is just going to these things where you meet other people who have Huntington's.
I like that. It seems like that concept that you're touching on is also why you're so interested in bringing it to other people.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you live in Charlotte, but you know there are other people in Charlotte that, one, don't know how, or don't even know.
Yeah.
And so going to them versus asking them to come to us,
right?
That's always a great way to get people involved.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easier you can make it for people to get involved, the more they will.
Absolutely.
If they can drive 10 minutes instead of 2 hours, they're a lot more likely to go, right?
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. HDSA North Carolina Chapter President, Josh Shope, thank you for being here today. Hopefully, maybe we can even get you on some other streams. I saw you taking a picture of some of our schedule and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you game at all, but
I don't. I'm like, we never really had. We had like a Nintendo and an Atari growing up, and that's about it. And I'm not a video gamer.
Hey, but the other part about it is you can always just tune in and have this playing at some point. And you can ask questions. You can see other people ask questions. Talk about the North Carolina chapter, what's going on, and what you'd like to see.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right, y'all. It won't be long, and we're gonna wrap up the stream for today. I'm gonna take a quick break again and see if I can find Drake so we can give you a good goodbye. To talk to her,
We're coming for you, Marianne.
What are you doing to us?
I already said I'm coming for your job.
We really appreciate all of y'all tuning in today and taking some time out of this beautiful Saturday. Maybe not so beautiful, depending on where you're at. But it means a lot that we can bring this to you all and share stories and embrace this theme of today, the storytelling aspect. And we get to talk to some really cool people and share that with people who can't always come from Canada down to North Carolina to hang out with us for a day. Is there anything that you want to share that summarizes your experience here today and
so
the impact?
My biggest thing out of being able to do all the interviews, have our sessions, be able to talk around with others, is realizing that your story is one of the biggest things that we can do for our community. So being able to, talk about my own and experience other people's, it grows and grows and grows until it's just this massive, wonderful thing, because we shared an experience doesn't mean we had the same experience. And that was one of the things that I talked about in my session, was a shared experience but not a shared perspective.
I like that.
And
I'm going to use that, just so you know. I'm putting
go
that one
for
in the
it.
pocket.
But it's like my sister and I, we grew up in the same house, and we grew up, doing everything beside each other. We did theater, we did choir, speech, a whole slew of things. But just because she had we had the same experience there, we saw it in different ways, and that's the same thing with our HD story. My sister saw things in a different light because, she took care of mom after she had a kid and stuff. I helped mom through high school. We both gave her rides while we were at the house, and there's so many different things. But even though we were there together, it's still different. That's why your story, your singular story, is extremely important, just as everyone else's story, even if it's at the same place.
I like that, because you're even comparing it to siblings. So, I mean, not only, like you said, not only your story, but your perspective is extremely valuable. Today's been really incredible. I'm excited to see this wrap up. The live premiere of Emma's Weiser. I'm still working on that last name. I'm talking about Sorry. Weiswasser. It means she said. Wait, no. Is it maybe? Nope.
No,
It's on the other. Is it on the other paper? No, it was here. But Emma
no, they
Aaron.
put she put Emma and Aaron.
Yep. But Emma's book, we're getting to see the live premiere of that, so that's going to be really exciting. Today's been fantastic, and like we've said already, the ability for us to do this and bring this to y'all is a really unique experience. And I hope that it's one that we can continue to do at different events, so that way all of you always feel like you're participating with us, even if you're not right here with us.
You know, Indianapolis is coming up real quick.
That's right. Very unfortunately, I will not be able to make Indianapolis, but that's on my books for the future.
It's okay. I can pick you up.
I wish.
I got a third row.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I have other obligations that are getting in the way.
I'll put them in the third row then.
Okay. Any last comments, words, concerns?
I don't know. I'm concerned you're not going to be in Indianapolis. I'm going to have to do this alone.
No,
or even worse, I'd have to do it with Erica.
Oof. Let's not think about that. Thank you. Please don't forget to tune in to HD Reach, Game Over HD. We have live streams. We have game lead sessions. We talk about Huntington's disease. We talk about resources we'll provide.
We talk about digging holes.
We talk about digging holes. We play fun games. We have casual conversations. And we, most importantly, we make HD casual.
There's one thing we have to do before we go.
What is that? You're curveballing me.
I am.
You're making me nervous. Is this our outro music?
No, this is your new music.
Are there words?
There are. Just hold on. We had to surprise you.
Patience. Patience. Is this from a game or something? What is this from? That doesn't tell me anything. What is this from? Okay, so this audio is going to be extremely muffled over stream. But for anyone interested in hearing what we're listening to, it's called Diggy Diggy Hole by Windrose.
By Windrose.
Interesting.
This is H's song.
Wait, is this more of that? You've mentioned this genre of music before. Of course it is.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's just for you to dig a hole.
I will do a proper listen through and give you a full review.
Sounds wonderful. I had to throw you a curveball before we left, though.
Drake, this is our first time meeting in person.
I know it's been 2 years.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
I blame Erica.
It's been partially. The other has been our crazy busy schedules. You know, we're just so overwhelmed. But I'm thankful that we met this way and got to have this awesome shared experience.
Yes.
We will catch y'all on the next one.
Yeah. Well, Autobots, let's roll on out.
Peace.